really bright today. I debated. I haven't used this background in a while, and I'm like, it matches so much that I almost had to use. I used to use this background all the time, though. Like a couple years ago, I loved it. It was one of my favorite ones. Until I would get, I don't use my bright ones as much like these because then I get like a few comments that say it was too bright. Like they love my stuff, but it was too bright. They couldn't watch it. But I mean, I guess that's like one or two comments of the hundreds of like thousands of people that watch. So, I guess I can't please everybody, but I used to use this all the time. And I kind of put it on the back burner because of a few comments, but I had to use it. Look, it looks like I just match completely. Anyway, hey Laura, cuff you. Anyway, yes, dude, I kind of wish I would have done the live. I didn't even think that whole hearing was gonna be on video, so it was a freaking full day anyway. I knew I was gonna regret it. I knew it. I'm like watching it. The first part was so freaking boring, and I was like, okay, it's a good one to miss. And then the hearing, and I'm like, oh, it was so good. I was like, oh my god, I would have been loving to watch this with you guys, but I didn't realize it. I don't know. I guess I should have thought that, yeah, duh, the hearing was going to be on video. My thought was it was going to be a half a day. It was going to end at 1, and then I'd end the live, and then I'd be all prepared, and then the live would end at 1. Not thinking that the hearing was going to be on, because I was thinking of Friday how it just ended, but oh well, no biggie. I did want to, I was going to play these videos that I want to play here. I was going to play them, with on lunch or breaks if I was going to do the live yesterday, but I didn't, or today. Oh my God, but I didn't. So I want to watch them with you now. And then I grabbed a few other ones. I'm not going to watch the testimony again today or anything that was from today, but I want to talk about it. But first I want to play these, like, I think I have like 4 videos or 5, and we can kind of chat about it in between and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. Hey, excuse me. Hey, Cassie. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Cuff You. Hey, Ella, Laura. I guess that's all that's in here. So let me get my earphones on. I got my first cup of coffee. But, I did get to have a good day with Zeke and my mom. We went on a long walk. We went to this field by the house, and we let Zeke just run. He was so cute. He looks so little in this big field. Yeah, because we usually take him to the dog park when the weather gets nice. But my mom's like, I don't know if I want to do that with all this stuff. I don't know. So we took this field, and like it's big enough where it's like there's a street. We were nervous because Zeke likes to just run after cars, so I was a little bit nervous, but it was a huge field. The street was like so far out there that we were like, I think we'll be okay. We had a baseball field on to the right with kids playing, and he just looked so little running in this big field. He was loving it. He just running all so cute. And then these kids, there's a group of like 5. It's like, can we pet your dog? And he runs up, and what does he do? He goes on his back to have him pet the tummy. He's so cute. He's like, yeah, pet my tummy. He's so freaking cute. I love him. So I probably wouldn't have done that if I did do the live. So that's one good thing that came out of it. Let me take a sip of this. Oh my god, when did I get on mute? This whole time? I don't get it. I don't know. I don't remember hitting freaking mute. I guess when I took a sip. is I have autism. Where are you? I have autism. You want a gift card, and I still haven't heard from you. So what I was gonna say, I want to play the first video. Sorry, is a video where they talk about the jury like going to the trip, the field trip. It's from a couple days ago. But the interesting part of the first video I want to play is they end up interviewing the Alberts. I know the Alberts don't live there anymore, but the neighbor, which is pretty interesting. I mean, it's not long, it's kind of quick, but what he has to say is pretty like interesting. It sounds like, well, I'll let you guys decide what it sounds like, but let me play it. All right, let me share my thing real quick. I'll play a video, but I definitely want to talk about today too, but I'll kind of just mix it up a little bit. Let me play this video first, and then I almost kind of want to, I don't know about to save it for last about what happened today, but let me play at least a couple videos, then we'll talk about today. Okay, so we're gonna play this one. The other 3 videos is ones that I had from like Thursday I wanted to play during break, so they're kind of almost a week old, but still, I mean, maybe you guys haven't watched it. Yeah, this one is Court TV, but I noticed depending on who the host is on the Court TV, because I know a lot of people in chat have been saying like Court TV is like biased against Karen, but depends on who the host is kind of the view. Like Vinny, I feel like I just watched a Vinny video and it sounds like he's biased towards her guilt, right? But then you watch is it Jesse? Maybe Jesse's kind of like, I think they're starting to consider, because I think they realize that it's like a lot of people think she's innocent. So it's like News Nation, like that one, what's her name? Oh my god, I know her name, but she's I usually know her name. I can't think of her name. The main one on News Nation, but she just did a video. I think I want to play it for you guys too. That it sounds like maybe they're starting to think like, okay, you know, maybe she is innocent, you know, because now they're having like experts that. So I think it just depends. I think it depends on who's hosting it at that time. Because I feel like I don't know if all Court TV is necessarily biased against her. I don't know. It's interesting to kind of figure it all out while you're watching it. Okay, so let me play this one first. Of course, we gotta get like 10 seconds in or you'll blow your freaking ears out with Court TV. That's one of the things that's okay, here we go.
Get an in-person look at the crime scene. Our own Matt Johnson is there live in Dedham. Tell us more about that, if you would, please, sir.
Yeah, we were along with the jury view. We were one of the media members to attend, and I can tell you this, it was a big production today. The bailiffs, they were sworn in here at the courthouse here behind me. Then the jurors, 9 men and 9 women, that includes the alternates, they loaded that large bus, and by police escort, they went to 34 Fairview. Out in front of that home, which is no longer owned by the Alberts, was Karen Reed's SUV parked in front of the flagpole. Jurors spent a lot of time looking at the space, looking at her car, and also we were kept about 100 feet away. But once they reboarded the bus, we were able to get a closer look. Take a listen. Moments ago, the jury just exited the bus and they did a jury view here at 34 Fairview. This is the former Albert home. This is the flagpole that we hear about in court. And this is Karen Reed's SUV. Now, during the pretrial motions, Karen Reed and her defense team had argued that they wanted her present during the jury view. She didn't attend last year, and she did not attend this year. After court ended for the day, we asked her about it. Karen, what do you hope they noticed about the jury view?
Why not go on the view?
I don't ever want to go back to 34 Fairview.
What do you think about the text messages that they read out loud? Do you really care about
I have.
Real quick, I'm confused because when they were trying to say like how they were gonna go to the scene, they said like, okay, Karen will go with so and so. I thought it sounded like she was going during the trial hearings and stuff. So she didn't end up going. Okay, and she didn't go last year either. Okay, interesting. I don't blame her. I'm just saying. I thought she was going for some reason.
Right there, she says that she has been back, but she never wants to go back again. Court has ended for the day, but that is a powerful way to start the weekend.
Now, Matt, that house at 34 Fairview, of course, belongs to the Alberts. I understand that you got an opportunity to speak with one of the Alberts' former neighbors who actually still lives on that street. What did they have to say?
Yeah, Michael. So right away, all of the neighbors came out of their properties and they were noticing all of the police presence and the media being kept back 100 feet. There was a man who we spoke with. His name is Jim Malver. He has lived in the neighborhood for more than 40 years, remembers that snowy night. Here's what he shared with me. Take a listen. Were there a lot of plow drivers coming through during the blizzard?
If there were, we didn't see them because it was, as I say, 6 o'clock in the morning. But even the plow driver said he came by at 2:30 and saw nothing. People leaving the party saw nothing. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they saw nothing. How can you not see a body lying near the flagpole? Friends of ours were bitten by Chloe. And in fact, they're on the witness list. I mean, the guy sells his house. He puts in a whole new basement floor. Suddenly his cell phone is gone. Suddenly Higgins' cell phone is gone. Come on. That's all innocent? No way.
This neighbor.
Real quick, on the witness list, I'm curious. Do you think they'll call the neighbor that got bit by Chloe? I don't know. I could see him maybe not calling him, but just, I understand why they'd be on the witness list, but I wonder if, I don't know. Interesting. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting because this is a guy that knows that, was the Albert's neighbors. He's he's thinking something's up with that. It's like somebody would have seen, got the basement floor redone. Chloe built the neighbor, phone disappeared, like all this stuff. Like, I thought it was pretty interesting. I wish I knew if I could. I should reach out to him and try to interview him. I want to know more. I want to know more what he's seen. But no, I thought that was so small of a clip, but pretty interesting. Just that small little minute interview. He said a lot. Anyway.
Admitting that it's a talking point still to this day in the neighborhood, and the fact that it's still very divisive, not only on 34 Fairview in that block, but also this entire community.
Yeah, and it's so divisive. People are extreme one side or the other. But what he just said as a neighbor, I think, gives some insight. All right, Matt, what key testimony has stood out to you, please?
Yeah, there was key testimony today about the blood draw and also how they calculated Karen Reed's blood alcohol level. That wasn't really explained to the jury about how intoxicated she may or may not have been. I'm sure Hank Brennan will present evidence about that later on. But then we also heard about the Section 12, the suicide watch, and Karen Reed being very distraught at the hospital, calling John O'Keefe her husband, asking questions about him. And the last time that the two had spoke, she was telling this EMT that they were fighting. Take a listen to this.
One of the reasons why she was saying suicidal stuff is because the last conversation she had with her husband at the time was an argument.
Were you also made aware, did she tell you that her last words to him were in voicemails? Did she say that?
She didn't give any details.
Did you ask her, what were your last words to him?
I did not.
And I was seated right behind the O'Keefes in the media section. I had one of the 10 media seats, and I'm facing the jury. And I can tell you this, during that bit of testimony, almost every single juror was taking notes.
Oof, so much going on. Thank you so much, Matt Johnson. We know they're expected to resume court on Monday. Right now, let's welcome defense attorney Bob Bianchi. All right, Bob, Michael and I both listening to the neighbor who'd been living there for many, many years next to the family who no longer lives there, and hearing him talk about them, I think there was no love lost, and I feel like maybe that neighbor always felt like something was amiss in that home.
Sounds like the defense wants to call that neighbor as a witness if they could. Look, I mean, the neighbor is bringing out something, obviously, here with law enforcement officers, the way this case was investigated. Judge, we talked about this the last time we were on the show. When I prosecuted murder cases, if I felt that there was somebody or a police officer or an investigator that were doing things that were inappropriate and I started to question the value of the evidence I had, I would do the ultimate thing and dismiss a case because I'd rather a guilty person be freed than an innocent person be convicted. But this neighbor is basically bringing out information that the defense is very vocal about in terms of that it doesn't make any sense and it creates reasonable doubt in the case, and it does. This case was investigated in a horrible manner. It was sloppy. I's weren't dotted, T's weren't crossed. Was it nefarious? Was it done because they were just sloppy? But you're putting somebody's life on the line, and as a prosecutor asking them to be put away in jail for pretty much the rest of their life, you better make sure you have it right. Last point, Judge. We talked about this last time. I want to kind of follow up with this. When somebody says, I killed him, I did it, I was thinking of a case I had where somebody did that. And what they were saying was that I drove her away into the arms of the man who ultimately did kill her. Now, it turned out that person wasn't even the person who killed her. It's who he felt was the person that did it. But the minute he said the words, I killed her, people were ready to put handcuffs on the guy, and it wasn't even him.
Oh, that's a good point.
Fair enough. And, you know, I've said all along, those statements could be interpreted so many different ways.
I agree.
It seems like the state's putting a lot of weight into those types of statements. I don't at all, because I like you said, but there's a lot of ways it can be interpreted, a lot of reasons why someone might say it. The other thing that I'm struggling with, too, and we heard some of it today, they called the EMS talking about, you know, she was talking about the last time we spoke, we had an argument, Just yesterday, they showed us evidence that they said this was the beginning of the cover-up. Those were like the 50 calls that she made to him. Well, if she's calling him in that way for the cover-up, then why is she going to the EMT guy and trying to tell him we just had an argument? Wouldn't that be part of the cover-up as well, saying, I'm not going to mention the argument that we had, because that would be, you know, point the finger at me a little bit.
Michael, I agree 1,000%. I mean, that's the first time that I heard that testimony when we were coming on air and you guys played it. And I was thinking to myself, as an EMT, as a matter of fact, first of all, we aren't really engaging people in these levels of conversation, but assuming that it happened, what is the argument here by the prosecution? Is that the motive, that they were fighting, so she decided to roll him over and run him over and create this dastardly crime? Why would she say that to him? If she's looking to cover up these things and looking to hide what she did, this would be literally the last thing that you would say to somebody. So I looked at that as a major piece of evidence for the defense. Again, sometimes the prosecutor, we all do this as lawyers. You're looking at the case with rose-colored glasses, and what you think is so powerful for you really is powerful for the other side.
Yeah, so tell us what you think as a former prosecutor, and Michael and I have talked about this a little bit, but the jury view, I think it's fine. I think it's good. It puts everything in perspective. We know her car was there by that flagpole. We also know she decided not to go, telling Matt, I don't ever need to go back there again. What do you think it does for the defense or the prosecution to go see this place?
Well, I'll give you a really quickly both sides of it. I have never personally done it. I've wanted to do it as a prosecutor because I felt that it's important for, you know, to really put the jurors into the scene. The argument against it, which is typically successful, although it's losing its power in New Jersey, but has been successful for a long time, is that you cannot control what the jurors are seeing in a unified way. One person may witness one thing, another person may witness another thing. So it's very hard to contain how the information is coming to them. And you want the jurors ultimately to go into the jury room, not based on personal perceptions of something that another juror may not have seen. That said, I think that we can trust jurors to be able to deliberate in a deliberative process, go to the scene. And to me, look, we always tell trial lawyers when you prepare a case, I'm sure you guys have done it too, never go to trial in a case where you have not gone to the scene to observe it, because many times people will say things that are just literally impossible. So why shouldn't the jurors who are making the ultimate determination of fact have that same opportunity?
Yeah, and under most circumstances, I would agree with you guys. But at the end of the day, for me in this instance, oftentimes when we've seen this, when you send a jury out to jury view, if there's an an issue with bushes that were there but are not there, if there's a tree that was there that was not there, you got to deal with that.
And
Under
there's
these
no
circumstances, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was a completely, really off-kilter night because of the storm that was coming in. So that's the only issue I have with it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what never made sense to me when they're like making this big thing about like her arguing and this big thing where it was like she's covering it up or she, you know what I'm saying? She just murdered him, yet she's gonna call him 59 times. That doesn't make sense to me. If she knew she did it on purpose, why the heck would she call him and then go back to the scene? You know what I'm saying? There's no way. She knew, you know what I'm saying? If she did that on purpose or knew that she did that, which is the second-degree murder charge, like, I'm sorry, you're not going to sit there and be screaming at him on voicemails. That would be stupid, you know? I mean, it makes no sense. And then her telling the EMT about them fighting or whatever, right? Like, in the states bringing it like it's some kind of proof to show that she murdered him. That makes, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. And I'm glad they said that. How did they word it? They said, you know, the state's thinking they have some bombshell or some big, strong evidence that's going to point one direction, and they think it's like doing one thing, but in reality, it's actually strong for the defense rather than the state. And Brennan was making me so mad today. Oh my God, at that hearing, I wanted to punch. I mean, I could not stand. I mean, and then Bev was like rolling in his favor the whole time. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm going back and forth with the hearing. And I know we're just talking about something else, but dang it, that was annoying the crap out of me. Every time, I'll allow it. It was ridiculous, some of the stuff that he was asking. It was just. So what was the ruling like? Is she going to allow it, or she's going to wait to the report? ARCCA, I mean, is she going to, waiting to the report and then going to decide, or what's the deal here? You know, I wonder what, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. He was a jerk. He was. And the fact that she kept allowing it, it was ridiculous. It was like, wow. The Celebrate was super boring. Oh my gosh. But after we go through these videos, I screenshot some of the results, and I figured maybe we'll see. Like, I think I have like 20 some screenshots of all the results of the phones, and maybe we can go through it and just kind of like see if there's anything interesting in there to talk about, you know, make it a little bit more not boring as the testimony. But I'll save that for last. Anyway, none of it makes sense. Yeah, Jules. What is your profile? Oh, is that like, oh, Jules. It's like Jules. Like, what is your profile pic? It is actually Jules. Hey, Early Grace. Oh, let me sing. Hey, thanks, Sarah, for the membership. And Ella. Bam. It says bam. Thank you for the super sticker. Oh, they call my mom Jules. That's fun. I didn't even think about that. Her name's Julia or Julie, but I don't on their birth certificate it's Julia, but it's Julie. I mean, her name's Julie. But they call Jules like people, her friends, and like my dad used to always call her Jules or Jewel or Jules. Like my grandma calls her Jewel. I get it. Cool. Laura, I knew it. I knew it. Is he married? Why did I know you're gonna have a crush on him? I didn't notice. Does he have a ring? Maybe he's single. But are you single, Laura? I mean, or is this just like some fantasy type thing? I know. Hey, allegedly Annie. Okay, so let's bring up the next video. I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm glad you guys Thought it was too. Okay, so the next video that I want to play is. Oh, let me play the interview with Kerry Roberts. Let me play her interview she does on GMA, I think it is. Where is it? Speaks Out. Here it is.
Now to an ABC News exclusive with a key.
Here we go. Have you guys seen this yet? Or no?
Witness in the Kerry Reid murder retrial who took the stand yesterday during the first day of testimony. She was with Reid when they found the body of her Boston police officer boyfriend. She spoke with our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. Kerry Roberts is arguably the most important witness in this trial, but she agreed to speak with us because she wants to refocus attention on the actual victim in this case. That's her childhood friend, John O'Keefe, the Boston cop who adopted his toddler-age niece and nephew when his sister and brother-in-law tragically died. A prankster who would help you at the drop of a hat.
Free Karen Reid! Free Karen Reid!
Arriving in court for the first day of her second murder trial, Karen Reid addressing her supporters.
I'm always confident in my team.
Reid's defense team maintains she's innocent, the victim of a law enforcement cover-up. But prosecutors allege Reid, drunk and angry, knowingly slammed her SUV into her boyfriend, police officer John O'Keefe, outside a get-together at another cop's home, leaving him to die in a blizzard in January of 2022. And this morning, one of the trial's key witnesses, Kerry Roberts, John O'Keefe's lifelong friend, speaking to the media for the first time, exclusively to GMA.
You're obviously one of the key witnesses for the entire case. Why are you speaking out now on the eve of Karen's second trial?
I think people have forgotten John in general. He is the victim. He's lost his life. He's not coming back.
Roberts took the stand yesterday and will continue testifying today. She is a critical witness for the prosecution because she was the first person Karen Reid called at 5 a.m. the morning of the blizzard trying to find.
There's a couple of good pictures. So this is him and her. There's actually a picture of them too at like, it looks like a high school dance that they show. Oh my Lord. They look so different. I don't know if it'll come up next, but that's him and her right there.
Find John.
Can you tell me what she said, what Karen told Kerry that morning when she called?
I believe she said, was that the first time she called John's dead?
Yes.
Why, just real quick, why would they ask him what she said to her when she's sitting right next to her? That's what I don't understand. And the fact that he has to ask her like he doesn't even know for sure. So it's like, why not just ask Kerry? I don't get that. I didn't get that strategy right there, especially because he doesn't even know he asks her.
Kerry relayed to Brendan Kane, a longtime friend of John's, the contents of her call that morning with Karen Reid.
When Karen called Kerry, she was histrionic, screaming, John's dead, John's dead. I think you get hit by a plow. Kerry, John's dead. Is that right?
The first phone call was John's dead. Then she hung up.
So that early morning, Kerry picked up Karen and another O'Keefe friend, Jennifer McCabe.
I knew of her. I had met her once, and that was it.
They drive to the house where Karen dropped John off. It's dark in a blinding blizzard.
It was so snowy, you couldn't see. And as we were driving, Karen would lean in between us, and she was frantic. I mean, she knew John was missing, so she was frantic about it, as I would be. And then we turned to pull down Fairview, and she saw him on the lawn, and I didn't.
Kerry quickly joins Karen on the lawn, and the two women perform CPR on John until police arrive.
We went to go find him and make sure he got home okay. And when you find him and he's not okay, it was pretty hard.
I noticed, oh, cool. I wanted to pause this when they showed the picture anyway, and I was just pausing it to say something, but look at them too. They both look so little. Like, they don't even look like, I wouldn't even recognize them if I didn't know. They look really young. I know, I noticed that histrionic, that I feel like that was purposeful of him using that word. Don't you think? Because that's not I don't feel like that's the proper, like, that's not the proper term that he should have used. I feel like, I don't know, I could be wrong, just in my opinion. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, right. Think about it. Nice looking, good job. Money, took care of his niece and nephew. He was a ladies' man. All the women. Yeah, no, I agreed. I was saying that in the few lives ago, how he's probably was, nice guy, nice looking, taking care of his niece and nephew, and yeah, yep.
Kerry and John's were friends since childhood. So was Brendan Kane.
He was a diehard Celts, Sox, Bruins, Pats fan. Name it, Boston sports. He was obsessed.
O'Keefe became a cop like his grandfather, staying close to his family, including his sister Kristen. When she and her husband died within months of each other, John took his niece and nephew in as his own. Kerry was his right hand.
It was like all hands on deck when they would go to dance recitals and stuff, father-daughter dances. I would do their hair and get the boutonniere and get the corsage, and he did a great job. This was one of my best friends.
In the 3 years since Reed was arrested, the town of Canton has been transformed. Neighbors have taken sides. Witnesses have been harassed. For the crime of?
Telling the truth.
Answering the phone.
It's my friend. I'm not going to not help. It's all about which side are you on? We're John's closest friends and family, and we're still haven't been able to grieve because of all of this. It's all lost on this circus.
Why did John want to become a cop?
Johnny believed in fairness. Johnny believed in justice.
Yeah.
And he'd be appalled at where we are 3.5 years later.
Kerry Roberts is part of a group of witnesses whose testimony points to Kerry.
I believe he'd be appalled too, but probably for a different reason than him,
Karen, knowing that she hit John O'Keefe with her car. And one key difference that we picked up on this time, the defense still says that there was a botched investigation and a cover-up. But this time around, they're no longer hinting that there was some sort of big police conspiracy afoot. Now, it's unclear how long this trial will last. That first trial took 9 weeks. So buckle up, guys.
Could be a long time. Okay, Matt, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so take this down, and then I want to play. Which one is this one? I'll play this one real quick.
All right, a
Oh, this is a News Nation one.
short but impactful day.
So remember, these next videos are from like last week. So if they're going to be talking about like the days, this one will talk about Friday's trial day. And then the other ones after that I play, I think were even earlier, like Tuesday or Wednesday. So, but it's just stuff I wanted to watch with y'all. So, oh well. And maybe you guys haven't seen them because it sounds like you guys haven't seen some of these. So that's good. Okay.
Day for jurors on day 4 of the Karen Reed murder retrial. While we already know that Reed and her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, had been out partying pretty hard the night before he was found dead in the snow, today we learned just how hard those two were partying. A doctor testified that Karen Reed had a blood alcohol level of 0.093, even higher. This was taken, keep in mind, hours after she got behind the wheel and allegedly struck and killed her Boston police officer boyfriend. So if that was true, she was definitely driving very drunk. That testimony capped a big morning for the jury. They went on a field trip of sorts to see the alleged crime scene firsthand. The 18-person jury, along with the judge and attorneys from both sides, all traveled in a bus from the courthouse about 8 miles to the home in Canton where O'Keefe's body was found. Now, the home at 34 Fairview Road looks far different today than it did on that snowy morning in January of 2022.
Oh,
when
Luigi.
prosecutors say Reed hit O'Keefe with her SUV and left him for dead in a snowbank. At the time, the home belonged to Brian Albert, a Boston police officer who's also a friend of O'Keefe's. It has since been sold. Now, today, when visiting the house, the jurors were told by the prosecution to take note of the building, but also to check out the street and the yard. Defense instructions went even further, telling jurors to note the front doors of the house, the second floor windows, the driveway, and the distance between all of those things. Also parked at the house for jurors to see today was Karen Reed's Lexus SUV with the right rear taillight, which was broken after prosecutors say Reed hit O'Keefe that fateful night. It had been completely removed. A lot to see in just about a 15-minute trip. So for more, let's go to our guest, Ronnie Estancilau, who was a juror on Karen Reed's first trial and is following the retrial every step of the way, and Flint McColgan, chief crime and courts reporter for the Boston Herald. He's been covering this case from the start as well, including trial number 1. Okay, I'd like to start with you, Ronnie. What did you make of the field trip today? You were on the exact same field trip. Did you feel like you understood what was alleged to have happened that night any better by going there?
I think it helped to provide us some context and also an idea of the landmarks and where they were in proximity to each other.
So seeing that did help you understand. What did it make you understand better?
The situation in terms of the backing up and the location of how it was difficult to actually potentially see something there by the flagpole if it was a dark night, snowy, and there was very little lighting. We were presuming that based on the fact that they were telling us this, some of us were pointing attention to the lighting of that area, how it was in proximity to the house, and then to the neighbors, that they could see that area that we were trying to focus on.
Doesn't this, Ronnie, doesn't this sort of, there's no snow there. This was happening in the middle of a blizzard type thing. How is it valuable to see the house, near summertime as opposed to wintertime when the place was covered with massive snowbanks?
I think it's nice to see distancing and the location. In terms of other pieces of information, I think we would just need to kind of bring back with the videos and whatever else we were doing there to clarify what was going on.
Flint,
So,
Flint,
yeah.
you went on the trip today, right?
Yes, today and last year, but both times media can't actually be among the jurors viewing it. So we were at a cross street, and then I approached after everyone was done.
And how did the jurors seem to react to being there and seeing all this for themselves?
The cross street's pretty far away. I couldn't see any faces or anything.
Okay.
They were dots. I'm sorry. I wish I had more to tell you on that.
All right. So Flynn, I want to ask you about the testimony about Karen Reed's blood alcohol levels. For her blood alcohol to be so high hours and hours after she was driving O'Keefe to this party, and when the prosecution alleges she hit him and then left him to die in the snowbank, she must have been extremely intoxicated that night.
Yes, I'm no expert on how ethanol leaves the body, but yeah, it would have to be higher during the time that she allegedly hit John O'Keefe. But also, she's not a very large person. And, during the last trial, I remember they were counting how many drinks she had. It could have been as many as 9, if I'm remembering correctly. Since then, in interviews that have actually been played in court, she says she didn't actually drink all that much and that the drinks were weak and all that. But if this blood alcohol content level is to be believed, and that's hours after the case, she had to have been very drunk at the time.
Ronnie, you say in the first trial, the jurors deadlocked on the manslaughter charge, which was basically driving and killing somebody while driving intoxicated. Is that why so many of you, I know you think she is innocent, but other jurors clearly deadlocked on the manslaughter charge? Was it because they thought she might have been so drunk that she had done something like this?
Yes. It was clear to some that that was enough evidence based on what was presented in the testimony that she was intoxicated and therefore she was the one who committed the crime.
And super quick, Ronnie, this time, second time around, how do you think it's going? Do you think, I know, again, you believe Karen Reed is innocent. Do you think what do you think is going to happen? Can you make any predictions based on what you've seen?
I can't make any predictions. It's based on the new jury. However, I will say that it seems more structured now. And it seems that there is more evidence being presented in terms of science and physics, at least from what I gather, and in comparison to the first one.
Is it making you change your mind about her innocence?
Right now, I need to see as it continues. I need to play it all the way to the end, right, in order to go in one direction. But right now, I haven't changed my mind until I see the whole trial.
All right. Flint McColgan, Ronnie Estanislao. Am I saying that right, Ronnie? I'm so sorry.
Yes, Estanislao.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. We will, I'm sure, be talking to you again as the trial proceeds. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
Finally, and now I understand, Laura. See, when I don't have the whole picture, I was confused. I'm like, what's with? I don't get the rock situation. But now that I'm finally understanding why, like what you mean. Okay, so yeah, I see how that could be a thing. That would be pretty risky for them to do that. As much as all the other cover up crap that they, accuse it of, to have something like that on top of it, I bet you it is just a hoax. I don't know. Where'd you hear that though, Laura? That's interesting. All right, let me take this down. And let me put up. Let me take this star off of this and I have these ones are maybe there's two more that are from like more earlier the week, but let's watch them. So we're gonna put the first one is titled
and for more,
it's only a minute. The impact of the victim's mom testifying in Karen Reed trial, which I thought was
and for more, let's bring in
I just thought that was wrong.
Contributor and trial attorney
to have her testify. Okay, here we go.
And for more, let's bring in ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer for more. Brian, John O'Keefe's mother didn't testify during the first trial. So why have her testify this time around?
Yeah, Diane, this is a big plan by the prosecution that they're not only using the evidence they had in the first trial, but they're also trying to use evidence that they say is what's called consciousness of guilt. And what they're doing is they're actually using interviews of Karen Reed from all of the interviews and public speaking that she's done from the first trial to this one and even before. And interestingly enough, they're using an interview from Matt Gutman in 2020 where Karen Reed says that she spoke to Peggy about what happened that day, and the prosecution is saying that's a lie, and instead that was a farce to take the SUV, the murder weapon as they call it, from the home of John O'Keefe and take it back to her home.
So, Brian, what are you watching for today?
So whether or not that video that I just mentioned actually does get into court should be decided this morning by the judge. So I'm looking to see what determination the judge makes, not only to this interview, but also further interviews that Karen Reed had given with or without her attorney to various media outlets. That's going to be, in my mind, the large difference between the first trial and the second trial, and how the prosecution weaves a narrative that what she said in those interviews could be damaging. Because Karen Reed didn't testify in the first trial. She may not testify in this trial here, but her words may be used against her regardless.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer.
Do you guys think she'll testify in this trial? What do you guys think? Remember how she answered? She said she didn't know yet. It wasn't like a no. I don't know. I doubt it. I guess it probably just depends on how the trial goes. Just like in the end, if they feel like it's something that's needed, Okay, so one more video here from last week. Whoa, this is pretty long. We'll skip through it a little bit because then we'll talk after this. Then we'll talk about today. I just wanted to do the past stuff first. But dang it, this is kind of long. I don't think he slept over. I didn't watch this yet. We'll just, like I said, watch parts of it. Gosh, dang it. See what I mean? They need to stop with that freaking the loudness. Is it loud to you guys or just me? I'm nervous.
Heart-wrenching.
Oh my gosh.
It's testified. It was our manicure to you, my friends, or should I say happy? So glad you grabbed that.
The third witness called by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in the criminal case against John O'Keefe's girlfriend, defendant Karen Reed. Now, before the trial began, we did a salute to John O'Keefe here on Opening Statements with three of his dearest friends. And this morning, I think we need to salute Peggy O'Keefe. She is so strong, she's so resilient, and so courageous. After all the heartache and tragedy that she's been through, it is remarkable she's still able to keep moving forward. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, and now she's back to being a mother again to those two precious orphan children that belong to her daughter and her son-in-law, and then to her son, Johnny. Wednesday was the first time the world got to hear her speak, and we could see it was hard for her to do that, especially when it came to her children that she's lost. My friends, I got to tell you, I was amazed at the grace, the resilience, and the class that Peggy O'Keefe exhibited in that courtroom, especially after all the horror that she's endured.
Oh, why is that?
No parent should have to bury their child, let alone bury two of their children. Peggy O'Keefe has sadly been there, and she is still fighting. She's leading by example, and she's leading with a mother's love. May God bless her and her family as they continue the good fight to get justice for their beloved Johnny. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
Wow. It's already just freaking annoying me. Sorry, I haven't watched this one yet, so we'll probably skip through a lot of this one. I'm just trying to find some other ones to watch. Trying to find a good recap of today. Let's see here. And then we could talk about it instead of watching the whole thing. I mean, I guess has anybody here not watched the hearing with ARCCA? I think it was only an hour long. I mean, I guess we could, but has everybody watched it? Because if you have, I mean, I guess we could kind of skip through it. It's up to you guys and just chat about it as we watch it, or I don't know. Let me know why I play this. I'm going to see if there's any other interesting videos to play.
The investigation discovery docuseries can come into the retrial.
Oh,
now
and I have those screenshots that I want to go through from today too, though. So those will be good too. But let me know. Oh, a lot of people haven't. Put a 1 if you have and a 2 if not.
It was argued right after the jury got to hear the heartbreaking testimony from John O'Keefe's mother.
So we started walking down the corridor, and as I'm walking down, I hear Karen Reed yell, "Peg, is he dead? Is he dead, Peg? Peg, is he dead?" And I just kept walking, and then I asked, I don't know who it was, a nurse or a worker at the hospital, and I said, "What is she doing here?" And she says, "Oh, she's being psych evaluated."
Did you ever have a chance while you were in the car to speak to the defendant?
Yes.
Please tell the jury about that conversation.
She, I asked her what happened, and she said, we went to a party. I left him there. I said, "You just left him there?" She said, "Yes, I just left him there."
Throughout the retrial, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan has been playing video clips of defendant Karen Reed ahead of the witness testimony. And in the video that the Commonwealth is trying to get in, you can see Karen mocking Mrs. O'Keefe.
And his mother leans over the kitchen island and says to me, "I think he looks like he got hit by a car. He looks like he got hit by a car."
Now, the defense is arguing that the Commonwealth just wants to introduce this clip to make their client look bad. But it's their client's own statements. She's a party to the case. The rules of evidence allow statements by a party to be introduced. But this defense team is pushing back, saying it's way too prejudicial to let it in. So what should the judge do? I've got three great guests here with me to talk about it. Let's welcome them in now. I've got celebrity attorney John Phillips here. He does both criminal work and civil work. And We have the co-host of the Murder Sheet podcast back on the show, attorney Kevin Greenlee and journalist Anya Kane. Great to see you both as well. And you both podcasted about the first trial over the death of John O'Keefe. Excellent podcast. I highly recommend it. All right, so let's talk about what the judge should do with this video clip. I'm sure you all have some strong opinions here. John Phillips, start us off. Should the clip come in? Yes or no, and why?
Yes. The Fifth Amendment is designed to prevent self-incrimination, but you waive all of that when you go on the news and you talk and you mock and you say all these things. And certainly there's a line that a court has to look at and say, is that more prejudicial than probative? Is this something that really doesn't add to the case? But here, it kind of straddles that line. It is going to make her unlikable, but she makes herself unlikable. And it gets into the impeachment of the defense in a way that there's a lot more to this than what we're led to believe.
Right, right, John. And you mentioned impeachment. And so here we have a contradiction that the state is looking to draw out here, as you all know, because backing up, we know in this documentary, Karen Reed mocks Peggy O'Keefe and says that she leaned over the kitchen island and says that she thinks that John got hit by a car. And we all saw the way Karen delivers it. But when we saw Peggy O'Keefe on the stand, she said that never happened, that she never had that conversation with Karen. She said that she came into the house with her father. They went upstairs, did who knows what. She didn't see it. I could just hear them up there for about 15 minutes together. And there were no hugs, no condolences, nothing like that, which I also think is pretty stunning. Anya, when you hear that part of a story, being such a great storyteller, when you hear that, what does that say to you about the total picture here, that right after John's death, there isn't any moment of consolation with Karen Reed trying to hug and show some love to her boyfriend's mom?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, Julie. I think it's really striking. I will say people might grieve differently. They might deal with shock differently. I think we need to account for that. But just that fact, the lack of love between Karen and John's family. And not only that, the fact that you have her discussing Peggy in such a mocking way on TV, I just don't think this defendant has any clue how she comes across to others. And it's going to be a huge detriment to her because basically what I've seen described is she's narrating her own murder trial throughout this whole thing through these different clips. And I think it's going to harm her with the jury.
Right, Anya, I think you were spot on. She even characterized it as her testimony. And for anybody who isn't aware, it was Karen Reed who invited those documentary filmmakers to come in and film her. And we saw them. It was almost like they were, taking somewhat of a victory lap before there was any resolution with the case. And so we saw the resolution was not a good one for them. She's on trial again. The Commonwealth isn't giving up. So here, I want to go back and play a clip of these arguments. And Alan Jackson was trying to get the judge to let it come in on a document, saying, well, just type up the statement. Don't let the jury see her. Let's take a look.
This is simply a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're trying to get it in because it makes my client look bad. They've just put on a very, very sympathetic and empathetic witness, John O'Keefe's mother, and they're trying to make my client, Ms. Reed, look bad.
The defendant should not be able to pick and choose which of her statements do not look good for her and do not look bad for her.
I'm gonna play a couple different ones. Hold on. I want to play the hold on. One from today. Where is it? I have a bunch more. Oh my god. This one, Karen Reed's. Now hold on, from today. Where is that? Crash reconstruction. Oh, here's one. Okay.
Experts in crash
Okay, let me play this one real quick. I know I have it on mute. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Experts in crash reconstruction in the hot seat. The experts now hired by Karen Reed's attorneys for her retrial answered questions today, but the jury was not present.
Well, she also got turned down on a double jeopardy issue that went as far as it could go. As NBC 10's Katie Benoit reports live from court in Dedham. Katie?
Jean Patrice, one big development. The U.S. Supreme Court said today that they won't be taking up Karen Reed's appeal to have 2 charges against her dropped, meaning it's back to testimony. And 2 experts hired by the feds took the stand today.
I wanted to make sure the jury understood that.
Don't hide behind the jury. I'm talking about your communications with the defense. I'm asking you specifically about your conversations with the defense.
Prosecutors rapid firing questions at an employee of the consulting firm ARCCA about phone calls, texts, and emails with Karen Reed's defense team.
Everything I had in my possession and that ARCA had in our possession, we produced.
The relationship under close watch after ARCCA sent the defense a bill for nearly $24,000 after last year's mistrial. Reed's attorneys had presented the testimony as independent.
I did not know ultimately who would pay an invoice if an invoice was sent after the trial.
ARCCA is still working on reports for this trial. They say they'll be ready in early May. Earlier today, with the jury present, a forensic expert testified about data on the victim's phone. John O'Keefe's body was found on the lawn of 34 Fairview in Canton. Prosecutors say Reed struck him with her SUV and left him there to die.
My opinion is that the device never moved far away from the flagpole.
Reed's team claims a police cover-up. Within says a house-long to die in the cold search on witness Jennifer McCabe's phone happened hours after 2:27 in the morning.
And discovered that it was actually the timestamp that the tab within the browser was brought into focus and had no relevance to when the actual web query had been made.
And today was a half day for the jury. Now, the defense began to cross-examine Whiffen, but he'll have to.
So what do you guys think? I know the first witness was really boring, but what did you think about the information he had? Like, did you, because I know they're going to bring in, I'm sure their expert witness. Well, who, Green? Is that his name? Or I can't think of the name. So do you think they're gonna hold on, let me move this over. Do you think they're gonna be able to what's the word? Because he said that he tried to like call him and the guy never, or the person didn't return his call or whatever about something about the results or whatever. So do you think their expert's gonna definitely say the opposite, right? I want to go through those screenshots. I mean, I guess I could do that now. It's up to you guys. Hey, Hope. It is kind of like, obviously it makes it look like something happened and he never made it inside, but then it's like, and then that whole, the search happened, later on that morning. But then, of course, I want to hear their experts that's going to say, no, I'm sure that's not how I take, that's not how I read the information. It's just like crazy how 2 different experts for the same thing can say 2 different things. And it's like the jury has to make up their mind like, oh, shoot, because that's like a huge thing. I mean, it could have a huge influence, those results and who you believe. Because it's like, I mean, if you believe like theirs, I'm sure that they're going to bring on because I know they had him last year. You're going to think that she's innocent. If you believe theirs, for states, you would think she's probably guilty because that's like a huge thing. Like the stuff that the phone could say, and that's talking about like, he's saying like he did RAN test and the flights of stairs or flights that like driving in a car and have the phone up and like driving in the car. If you go up an elevation can like look like a flight. I don't know. Like we got to trust him. And it's like that. I don't know. That seems a little odd that would do that. Right. Richard Green. Thank you, Denise. I thought that was Green. Okay. Yeah, like that, when he said that, I was like, and then it's like, if the jury believes him, these tests, that's what it showed, then but then I'm glad that I'm sure they'll bring their expert Green, and then they'll say, hopefully, we'll discredit him, or not discredit him, but, say the opposite basically, and then they have to decide who they're going to believe. That's hard but I guess with all the other information though, but that in itself, if you could know for sure that in itself, which one is true, like that can say right there, that's your answer, innocent or guilty. If you know what I'm saying? If like you knew like this information and this person, it has the most accurate, correct information. Anyway, let me play this real quick. This is from day 5. This is them leaving court today, actually.
Karen, any reaction to the Supreme Court not taking up the case?
Nope, right on. Nothing's breaking in that.
And your reaction to the expert with the Commonwealth saying that it wasn't 2:27, but it was actually after 6 a.m.
Celebrate says 2:27, and it was deleted. Celebrate that.
What do you think about that battery?
That's crazy.
Insightful. You'll hear more. Stay tuned.
Did you make calls to John's phone just like 90 seconds after you dropped him off?
No. 90 seconds, no.
Wait, what did that guy just ask her? Hold on, I gotta rewind that. What did he say?
No.
Wait, hold on.
Did you make calls to John's phone just like 90 seconds after you dropped him off?
No. 90 seconds, no.
2 minutes? I mean, it seemed pretty quick.
You'll get me.
Plus, if she made a call, if she called him 90 seconds after she dropped him off, I think that's what he said. He said 90 seconds, no. And the guy says, oh, it seemed pretty quick. Okay, so, and then I want to play, hold on. I want to play the, all right, hold on 1 second. I'm going to play, where's it at? Where they talk about the, where's this it? No, give me 1 second. Where is it now? Hold on, guys. Here we go. Let's watch this about the Supreme Court.
And the U.S. Supreme Court has decided not to take up Karen Read's appeal. This likely means at the end of Read's bid to get 2 of the charges that she's facing dismissed, including second-degree murder. Now, she's been arguing jurors in her first trial actually acquitted her, but did not fill out a verdict slip. Now, she's taken her appeal bid to every court possible, including the nation's highest court. But again, the Supreme Court revealed today that it will not review her case. The decision comes days after the court met to debate whether to do so. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bianca Beltran. Meanwhile, testimony in Read's retrial resumed this morning, and the focus was a controversial Google search that the defense says proves that their client is innocent. NBC 10's Manash Gangwari joins us live from outside of Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham. And Manash, what's the latest?
Well, today was scheduled to be a half day of testimony, and so far only one person has been on the stand, a cell phone data expert that is giving the jury a timeline of events.
Would you kindly introduce yourself to the jury?
Ian Whiffen, a Celebrite forensic expert, on the stand to start week 2 of testimony.
Did you have an opportunity to forensically examine a telephone that was attributed to a person by the name of
Jennifer McCabe.
Whiffen was tasked with examining data from the cell phones of Jennifer McCabe and John O'Keefe as part of the investigation into O'Keefe's death. As we know, Karen is accused of killing O'Keefe by backing her SUV into him at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Karen found him the next morning alongside McCabe.
How long or how's long to die in cold?
For McCabe's phone, Whiffen was asked to look into a Google search she conducted the morning O'Keefe was found. See, both the defense and the prosecution agree McCabe searched how long to die in the cold that morning. But the defense says it was made at 2:27 in the morning, which would mean McCabe knew O'Keefe was dying on the front lawn. But McCabe says she was asked by Karen to Google it after they found O'Keefe's body around 6:30.
As long as Safari doesn't close, then the timestamp will remain the same.
In your opinion, to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty, was that the same tab, that 22740 tab open for Hockomock Sports, was that the same tab that later was used for searches or attempted searches at 6:23:51 and at 6:24 relative to how long or how's long to die in cold?
I believe it was, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up some of the screenshots real quick. I'll watch more videos too, but I want to talk about today's testimony here of that guy. I screenshot some of the stuff that he was going over. Okay. So, I don't think I got it all, but it'll be good enough to go over some stuff. So this is the steps health activity of John's phone. So it says the steps and stuff. So we have 1109 to 2105. 170 steps. So this would be 1211, right? Isn't that how that works? 1211 to 1221. 170 steps, then 1221 to 1224. 80 steps, 1222 to 1224. 3 flights climbed. 1231 to 1232. It would be 36 steps. And then at 6:04 in the morning, it's 432 steps. So that would be after they got his phone, right? Yeah, they do. But they do, Nora. But we could convert it. We'll be all right. As far as converting stuff, if that's what you're worried about. But yeah, they do. Okay, so so the 3 flights, he was trying to say, if you guys watch the testimony, that they try to pinpoint basically everywhere that John was. And what he said is they were on the way. Basically, when the 3 flights is when they were like driving on the way to the house, and like the elevations from the terrain, and the phone and stuff. So, and he like pointed out like each spot where they would be. Just like, wow. So let me go over, hold on. Excuse me. So 1222, 1224. So he basically would show like the flight climbed, and he has them all marked off. Here's the 3 flights. So one's here, and then one's here. This is the state's expert. Okay. I'm not saying when I'm going over this, I'm not saying that I agree with him or anything. I'm just saying this is what he presented when I go over it. This is the data that he showed and what he said it meant, I should say. That's all. I'm just trying to present it objectively. This is what he said. Okay. Okay. So, I went the wrong way. So yeah, flight climbed, and then like what? Seconds later, another flight climbed, and then a couple minutes after that, the 3rd flight climbed. So he's saying they're basically driving. There's a terrain that's like elevated, the 2nd flight, and then the 3rd one 2 minutes later would be after they would actually be at the house. So I don't know what he's it was kind of boring, so I may have missed some of what he was saying, and I was like, I tried to rewatch some of it just in case I missed something, but I just like, oh, I can't do it. So I screenshot these and I was like, I'll just try to do it. But I did watch it, but like I said, I zoned out, like I don't know. It's just with Brennan and him, and it's like, anyway, so I don't know if he's saying the third one. I know these where he said the elevation, the terrain is like elevated, and it would show a flight because he tested it in his car driving and holding the phone up, and it actually showed because it all has is 3 meters. I think he said, right, 3 meters for it to show a flight, and he was trying to explain how, like, the specifics of that, which I might rewatch it again just so I could understand it. But then it's like, wait, should I waste my time? Because do I trust him and his data, and or his what he's saying? Maybe I shouldn't focus and spend time and just wait to see what the state said, because I did watch it, but I mean to like really watch it again and try to really understand what he's saying on some of the things, which I can, because I'm pretty easy learner. But when I was watching it, like I said, I was talking to my mom a little bit and my grandma, and so let's go to the next one and see what it says. So the next one says health records activity upon completion. Flight climb is only detected when the altitude registers as having increased 3 meters in combination with movement consistent with walking. So it has to be elevated 3 meters plus the movement of walking. So he's saying the drive at moving will, I don't know, Laura, but here, let's do that. So 3 meters, we could just do, it's pretty easy to, because since we have Google and stuff, you just look it up. So it's 9.84 feet. Okay, so about 10 feet. So when they say 3 meters, it's about almost 10 feet, right? So a flight is only detected when the altitude registered as having increased 10 feet in combination with movement consistent with walking. So that's pretty hot. I see, that's bull that you're going to say that the terrain, when it doesn't even really appear like it's a big hill or anything, just a little bit of elevation and driving in a car, that's bull crap. I don't buy that. I know silly Sarah was explaining that with the, like, how that's like, we are one of the I didn't realize that like most other countries did use it. We're one of the few that don't, but that's besides the point. This is bull. 10 feet. So let's see how big. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Do I have my tape measure in here? Yes, hold on, guys. Here we go. Let's see. I gotta pee. You guys, when I'm not even gonna be able to go to the ceiling. What am I doing? There's absolutely, this is right here, 6 feet right here from my ceiling to down to my waist. So it's gonna be like, there's no way that there's absolutely no way that driving in a car that's not even the way he was describing, it's not even this big hill, but just driving in a car is going, and then it's gonna make it do it. I mean, I don't buy that. I wish there was a way. Oh, we could test it. Dude, let's test it. Because wait, hold on a second. Would we be able to see what? Yeah, because we'd be able to see what our health things say. If it says flights, we should try to do a test. You know what? Tonight I'm gonna mess around with it and see, because I don't know, dude. He's like saying that he tested it. So basically, yeah, driving right there. He's saying that like on the way there, and then when they got there, whatever that situation was that made it go up. I don't know, guys. I think it's a little bit It's just, I don't know. I'm anxious for Green to go. I want to see what he has to say. I'm really anxious. Okay. So this one, 3 flights climbed. Okay. Yeah. Psst. All right. So now we have, oh, here's the same thing. It's all doing the same thing. So here's the 1 flight. Here's the 2nd flight of stairs that where it calculated it, and here's the 3rd. That's what they're saying, because these 2 were like seconds apart, and then this was 2 minutes after. So that's what he's saying. Remember, this is just what he's saying. And then, wow, this is blurry. Shoot, this one came out blurry. I don't know if I'm able to read it. It's really blurry. Can you guys? It's more clear if I look over here. That's so weird. Why does it always do that? Like on my bigger screen, they're both the same screen, but like when I share it, I don't know how to explain. Like when I'm looking at it on my first screen, it's always blurrier, and then the shared one, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, 1:20. 12:21 a.m., 12 to 18. I can't even read. Anyway, I'm going to skip this because I cannot read it. Okay, so battery temperature. This was kind of interesting too, which doesn't, I mean, if this is accurate, that don't look good for Karen, but I'm interested to see what did Green say about this the first time around, because I actually didn't watch his testimony on the last trial. That was one of the things, because you remember I didn't get to see the whole trial when I tried to rewatch it, and that was one of them. I didn't get to rewatch it, but I think I'll probably just wait till I see it in this trial. I don't know. So much other things to watch, with this one, that I might as well just wait. So we have January 29th. So we have the battery temperature. So 1213 is 82 degrees. 1222 is 77, and then in 1237 is 72. 1245 is 66. 1253, 61. So you can see it's slowly getting cooler. 107 is 55. 136 is 50. And then, so it's 50 degrees. And then they say, this is what they're saying, is when they moved John's body off of the phone, because he was laying on the phone. This is why they say there was a drop from 50 to 43 at this time, because when they moved his body off the phone's laying underneath him, and they moved the body off the phone, and it was just exposed to the cold right there without his body laying on top of it to keep it like warmer. So it wasn't covered. So it was exposed and it got colder, which does make sense. I mean, like that logic, so they said, it dropped to 43, then 37, and then it started warming up again, because then somebody had the phone and obviously probably, ended up taking it inside at one, at point, but like even, or holding it, you know what I'm saying? It warmed up a little bit, but yeah, so that's what they said, that their reason for why it dropped right there, which I think is probably right, because either way, innocent or guilty, that happened. The phone was underneath him. You move him off of it, and the phone's exposed to the elements. So yeah, that makes sense right there. And then here's just a graph of it. So it's like it stayed pretty cold and then dropped right here. And then it started warming up when they got it. And then all the lock and unlock stuff. So the Face ID at 12:12, he unlocked it with his Face ID. SMS on screen at 12:12 a.m. And then the application closed 12:12, 57 seconds a.m. And then 12:12, 59 seconds, device locked, lock button pressed by user. So probably he pressed the lock button. like I said, I'm just going over their information. This is what they say. This is the information, right? So remember, I'm not saying I agree. Like, I think that this is accurate or whatever. I don't know. I really wish, are they gonna, oh, we have to wait though until the defense brings on theirs to hear the opposing. Dang it, I want to know right now. Anyway, so 1218 device unlocked, 121825 biometric face ID, and then a text SMS on screen, user launched from icon, the phone application opened, in-call service screen, user in call at 1218 36 seconds. Then we had 1219 23 seconds, call ended. Because there's a call, like a minute call, looks like. And then 1219 23 seconds, phone application closed. 1219 29 seconds, Waze application opened, user launched from icon. 1224 closed. 1224 28 seconds, device locked, lock button pressed by user. And then 1224 59 seconds, device unlocked, biometric face ID. SMX application launched at 1225. And then 122509, lock button pressed by user. And then he was going on to say about how the clear in the pocket, and I don't even know how to explain it in words. I get it, but I'm not good with explaining that. So if you guys have to watch that part, but basically what he's saying is cleared is if like the phone isn't, like if it's in his pocket and it's covered, right? So this is showing like at 1237, obviously somebody was using the phone, maybe not using it, but the phone was cleared, right? And then at 1225, it was in his pocket, it was covered. And then 1229 cleared, 1231 cleared. The whole, I guess, conclusion is, where's it at? Dang it, where's the rest of it? Because at one point it shows where it's, where's it at? Pocket, where it just stays there for the rest of the night, which they're, you know what I'm saying? Which they're saying it, okay, so there was no use, it was under him, it was covered up. But where does, hold on, where's it at? Because, oh yeah, right here, duh. It is right here. So 12:33 a.m. pocket, and that's, it had 26,532 records or whatever, where it tried to like clear it or whatever. So, but it wasn't able to, because it was, what they're saying is from 12:33 a.m., the phone, this is what they're saying is the phone was under him. He was on, so it tried to clear it, but it couldn't. So had all those records where it wasn't able to clear it until 6:02, when they found him and moved him off the phone, where then it was able to, right? So, I mean, that doesn't look good for her if that, you know what I'm saying? That's obviously why they had this witness, but I'm interested to see how Green is going to explain this. I don't know if they did in the first one or not, because I didn't watch theirs, but we'll see. So yeah. And then so this is showing unlock 1218 device unlock with Face ID, 1218 application focus, com.apple mobile. So we have 1218. Okay. So he's using, it's active. 1218 outgoing call to Jen McCabe at 1218. He calls her, and then 36 seconds it lasts. And then 1219, end of application focus, outgoing call ended. And then, yeah, okay. And then at 12:20 a.m., iMessage received from Brian Higgins that says, "You come in here?" question mark. Which I didn't realize that This is John's phone. Like, I didn't realize that he freaking Brian Higgins texted him. Did you guys, I'm sure you guys knew it if you watched the trial, the first trial. I didn't know that. See, I didn't know. These are the testimonies that I didn't get a chance to watch in the first one, or these more technical ones for the experts, which I should have because they're important, but I get to watch them this time. All right, so health. 3 flights climbed. That's the 3 flights climbed. 12:22 a.m. And that's like, and then, you know, we saw how they broke down the 3 ones that were actually like separate. Ones were seconds apart, and the other one was like 2 minutes after that. Okay. And then we have 12:24. We have the Waze iPhone end application, device locked with the lock button. And then the 3 flights climbed event, which was like this almost like 3 separate things, but it's the event, right? He explained that too, but I'm just not good at explaining. Like, I get it in my head, but to put it into words to explain to you. So hopefully there'll be somebody that does like a recap, because I'm not going to say sit through that, what, 3 or 4 hours. Just, I mean, if you want, if you're going to watch it, but if not, I'm sure somebody will recap or they'll explain it. But I think you get the gist of just this going over what I'm saying. I mean, I think it tells a pretty good picture, right? Hopefully. Okay, so first location record showing a speed of 0 miles. So 12:24 showing 0 speed, okay? And then the device is unlocked with face, and then 12:25 red message. So he read that message from Brian Higgins that said, "You come in here." And then he locked. Then the device locked at 12:25 and 9 seconds. Right after he read the message, the device locked. Okay. And then 12:27, the message from Jen McCabe said, "Here?" ? And then device unlock with Face ID. So obviously he sees the text message, or he sees he's got, a message. So he unlocks the phone with his face to read the message. So he read the message here at 12:27 a.m. And then in 48 seconds, then in 12:27 a.m., 50 seconds, the device locked again. Okay. And then 12:29 a.m. and 37 seconds, Doppler pocket state. That, remember, the state's either pocket or cleared. So it's in the pocket state now, right? And then 12:29 and 42 seconds, pocket state cleared. So therefore he took it out of his pocket at that moment because it was able to clear, right? Well, because he's getting a call. So that's probably why he probably took it out of his pocket for the call. It cleared. He gets a call from Jen McCabe at 12:29, 44 seconds. And then 12:29, 51 seconds, the incoming call ended. And then 12:29, 52 seconds, device unlocked with Face ID. So I don't know. Hold on. What did it? 12:29, incoming call ended. Okay. But then he looks at his phone again, obviously, after the call ended. After the call ended, and it didn't lock yet, it looks like. Or yeah, hold on. Yeah, it must have, because then he unlocked it, right? And then he ends up locking at 12:29 a.m. and 53 seconds. So after he basically gets off the phone with Jen McCabe, and then he looks at, obviously, I think he unlocks and looks at the phone a little bit right after that, and then it locks. Okay. And then 12:31 a.m. and 47 seconds, he gets the message. Well, Jen McCabe text message John that says, "Pull behind me." That's at 12:31 and 47 seconds. But then 12:31 and 52 seconds, the Doppler pocket state. So the phone's in his pocket. So let's see if he ends up reading that message. I don't know. So she texts him, but the phone's in his pocket right now. Okay. And then at 12:31, start of a health event, 36 steps. This is probably when he gets out of the car. I'm guessing. And then 12:32, Doppler pocket state cleared. So he does take the phone out of his pocket, right? And then he unlocks it with his Face ID at 12:32. So he unlocks his phone. And then application focus messages. So then he does read Jen's message at 12:32. In 6 seconds, he reads pull behind me. And then 12:32:09 seconds, end application focus messages and device locked with lock button for the last time. Locks the phone for the last time. And then 12:32 in 16 seconds, end of the health event, 36 steps. So no more steps, ends the 36 steps. Okay. And then 12:33 a.m. and 14 seconds, Doppler pocket state. Which they're saying that that's when that would have been after. This is, like I said, this is the state's narrative is saying this right here would be after Karen hit him with the car, falls back, hits his head, whatever, goes flying how many feet over to the flagpole, and then lands on his phone, is under him, and then the phone is in pocket state because it's covered up by him. That's their theory, right? And then it stays in pocket state until they find him in the morning at 6 and remove him from you know what I'm saying? Remove him, and then the phone's exposed, right? Anyway, so then, so that's 12:33:14. They would say that that's after she already hits him, and then 12:33. So not even what 15 seconds after that, after it goes into pocket state. So that'd be right, like pretty much right after she hits him. She calls him, and he doesn't answer. So that means they're saying that she backs up, hits him purposely, and is aware of it because second-degree murder, and then calls him like 15 seconds later. Just calls him after that, and then she calls him again, and in another half a minute, doesn't answer. And then calls him again. And another, like, I'm just estimating like 30 seconds, doesn't answer. Another 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds, doesn't answer. Like every half a minute, she's calling him. Every 30, this is like average for at least these, every 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Wow, 20 seconds, 8 seconds. Oh, this is temperature. Oh, wait. So, temperature, battery temperature drops to 72 Fahrenheit. And then incoming call. 30 seconds, yeah. And then a voicemail. She leaves a voicemail, 3 second. At 12:37 a.m., 31 seconds, she leaves a voicemail. Karen does on John's phone. And then calls again. Calls again. Like calls again, and then 5 seconds after calls again. And she's calling even quicker now. And then 12:40 a.m. is when then Jen texts him. Hello. This is the first unread message. So all the other messages John had read, but this is the first unread message. And then 2 minutes after that, Jen McCabe texts him again and says, "Where are you?" But I want to see. So that's hold on. So that's 12:40. I want to see, when was her last text though? 12:40. Hold on. So Hold on, I want to see something. Wait, 12, 32, 16, 30. So 7 minutes after his phone goes into pocket state is when Jen texts him. But I want to see from the last, hold on a second. So 31. So around 9 minutes after her text, pull behind me. Then she texts him, hello. But there's a minute in between. Look, if you guys, where's it at? Hold on. No. So there's a minute in between the health. So the end of the 36 steps. So the end of any of his steps that's recorded, there's a minute between that and his pocket state where his phone goes into Doppler pocket state. I'm wondering maybe that he said it and I missed it with all the boringness. How long it takes for the phone to go into pocket state from the time that it is like covered or is not being able to be cleared. Does it take like you know what I'm saying? Is it instant, or I'm sure there's some kind of delay? Because the reason, I'm asking is because the steps end at 12:32 a.m. and 16 seconds, but the pocket state is almost exactly a minute later, 12:33 a.m. and 14 seconds. So in their theory, it would be he gets hit 12:32 and then a minute. So my thing is if it takes a minute, if it's like instant where it goes to pocket state, so it takes a minute from when he gets hit to him covering the phone. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so their theory is, I'm sure there's some kind of delay on each of these though. You guys follow me? I'm sure it's not like, so. Huh. Anyway. If you were to go with what they're saying, then, and let's say it is instant and it's that accurate, then gets hit and then a whole minute is he like, and like I said, I don't think that happened, but I'm saying if hypothetically, if we were to believe them, and then, so I'm just trying to think like what a minute, like maybe he falls back and then he is not instantly like knocked out and he kind of like tries to crawl over and crawl to get help or something, and then maybe falls onto the phone or whatever. I'm just trying to picture like a whole minute of what, but like I said, I'm sure there's some delay in some of that. So it wasn't a whole minute. Like if that was true, a whole minute from him getting hit to him being on top of his phone and on, right in front of the flagpole. But anyway, I just don't think that's what happened anyway, but I'm just trying to like, with their data, see what it would mean. Okay, so she calls him a bunch. We know that. Then Jen's texted him. So Jen texted him, hello, like 9 minutes. Or no, she texted him the first hello is about 9 minutes after her text, pull behind me. And then 5 minutes after that, oh no. And then 2 more minutes, she says, where are you? And then his phone drops battery, and then Karen's calling him still. So Karen called and left a 40-second voicemail at 12:42, and then the battery temperature drops to 66 on 12:43 a.m. And then, so in between, Jen McCabe, where are you? And then 3 minutes later, she's text hello because John hasn't responded. And then This doesn't say anything. There's no description. 12:53. I just location. Oh, it's the location right here. It's showing 12:53 a.m. and then text message 12:55. So does that mean Karen is just sitting there at 12:55 saying I'm going home? Like, I have a question though, since I did miss some of these testimonies of I know they went over her car, like the black box or whatever, the car, like, where it was at, what it was doing. So if you guys remember, which I'm sure we'll see, are they saying that she sits there till 12:55 waiting, trying to call him? Is she sitting there when she's calling him is what I want to know, right? Is she sitting at the house? 12:55, I'm going home, and then she goes home. See you later. So does that mean, she's sitting there for how long? Or is that not what? I don't know yet because I didn't watch those testimonies. But are they, hold on, what time would that be? So he goes, hold on. So that means she's sitting there for like 17 minutes? Or no, longer than that. Like 20 minutes? Wait a minute. 22 minutes or something? But is she supposedly sitting there the whole time, over 20 minutes? Well, she's just calling him the first few calls. Let me see what you guys are saying. And then when she says I'm going home, is because that would be like 22 minutes later. She's just sitting there the whole time. Let me see. I know, yeah, but so question, Laura, was she sitting at the house the whole time till 12:55 before she ended up leaving? Like those when she's calling him and he's not answering, leaving like over and over, is she supposedly, does her car show that she's just sitting there waiting for him that long for 22 minutes? I don't know. I got to figure that out. Oh, she was home. Oh, so she left right away. I'm interested for those testimonies. Hopefully the voices will be won't be boring because I want to know the time frame of her, like where it shows how long she sat around after his last steps. How many minutes? Because that stuff is important, I feel like, to understand. I don't know. I feel like it would be something I want to know. Yeah, it'd be 22 minutes, but I don't know because it sounds like they're saying no, she left, so that she wasn't even there. So she was okay. So when she says I'm going home, she was already almost home. Is that what you're saying? Oh, I see. Wait. Her home. I see. So when she says I'm going home, she's just saying she doesn't end up going to her house, but she's trying to tell him I'm going to go home to her house, huh? I see. Maybe that's why she says it. But I would still like to see, like, because they see where her car was there. So her car was already, she left. Huh. Anyway, that's the last of the things. Did you guys follow any of that? I did. Now going through the messages, I feel like it was just like a long testimony and he's still not done, right? I don't think the defense wasn't done questioning him, were they? Because I feel like she stopped in the middle of like one of the defense's questions and ended it. So I think they're still gonna question him more, right? Anyway, so let's see. That's basically what happened today. That's what the guy testified, is what we just went over. Quick, 20 minutes of what he took 4 hours. Yeah, he explained some of the things a little bit more better. I don't know, Cope. I don't know. It's hard because when I ask the question and then I ask a couple questions that people answer, I don't know what they're answering. So I don't know. I'm almost feeling like I'm gonna have to wait to the testimony because I don't know. I feel like we're not getting a clear answer. I know they questioned him, Laura, but I don't think they're done. I feel like they're in the middle of the one question and she ended it because it was time's up. I didn't feel like they were done questioning him. I know they started to, but it didn't seem like they were done. Right? I could be wrong, but yeah, I saw that. Can somebody I was watching a video on that, but I didn't get to find. Can somebody send me, Laura? Do you have a because I know you follow him. Can you send me the link to his blog or whatever? Because I was watching a video where the person was going over that what you're talking about, Colleen, but I don't know where his thing. I didn't try to look up his actual site. Does anybody have it real quick that you could send me while I'm doing other stuff at Turtle Boys? I mean, and we could go over it. But yeah. I could probably find it if not, but I figured somebody probably has it real quick. You could email me while I find a couple other videos I wanted to play. All right, so the next one I want to do is what's this one? Karen Reed's.
Jury in the Karen Reed retrial got a
Let's see what this one is. I'm not sure.
look at her allegedly troubled relationship with John O'Keefe. Seen in their text messages, they revealed concerns about arguing, but a witness who had been with them says they seemed like a normal couple. It was a short day in court. Good evening, everyone. I'm Patrice Wood.
I'm Gene Valicenti, and there was confusion when it came to witnesses today, too. NBC 10's Katie Benoit reports.
To John O'Keefe, you have really hurt me this time.
These are text messages between Karen Reed and John O'Keefe on January 28th, 2022, the day before he was found dying in the snow outside a Canton home.
From John O'Keefe to the defendant, things haven't been great between us for a while. Ever consider that? Sick of always arguing and fighting.
Prosecutors say the two were on the rocks, alleging Reed hit her Boston police officer boyfriend with her SUV and then drove away. Dozens of phone calls were ignored by O'Keefe, but the two met up at a local bar later that day. Michael Camerano was there. He painted a different picture of the couple on cross-examination.
Happy?
Yes.
Like a normal couple?
Yes.
No arguments?
No.
You witnessed no bickering, no tension, correct?
No.
Prosecutors went on to play TV interview clips
New
of
lawyers,
talking
new
about
tactics.
the night of drinking.
But I shouldn't have been driving. But I don't think I was driving. I know I wasn't driving recklessly.
The defense didn't want this clip to be shown.
His mother leans over the kitchen island and says to me, I think it looks like he got hit by a car. It looks like he got hit by a car.
Reed left court quickly today, not answering questions from reporters. Anything you want to say about the video? Tomorrow, the jury will take a trip to the Canton crime scene. A doctor is also expected to take the stand.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Gene Valicent in the NBC 10 newsroom. This is our daily recap of the retrial court action in the Karen Reed case. Joining me is NBC 10's Katie Benoit, who's been up there. Also, one of our legal consultants, Peter Ellikin, an attorney in Boston. Let's begin with Karen Reed just outside court. She got the disappointing news that the U.S. Supreme Court will not take up her case for this to be ended. Let's listen to that.
Reaction to the Supreme Court not taking up the case.
No, right on. Nothing's breaking me, Matt.
And your reaction to the expert with the Commonwealth saying that it wasn't 227, actually after 6 a.m.
Celebrate says 227, and it was deleted. Celebrate.
What do you think about that battery gap? That battery temperature battery?
Insightful. You'll hear more.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Sorry.
Did you make calls to John's phone just like 90 seconds after you dropped him off?
No. 90 seconds now.
That seemed pretty quick.
You'll get me.
All right, a little tough to hear what she's saying there, but essentially she said the fight goes on. Disappointing news. Let me bring Peter Ellikin, one of our attorneys, is following this forward. Peter, just most of us know you can't be tried twice for the same crime, double jeopardy, unless what? Fill in the blank. How come it didn't work for her? She went all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Why?
This was very unusual. What happened is, as we said, the number of jurors who come forward said they did find her not guilty of 2 of the counts.
Mhm.
However, it was almost inexplicable that they never told the judge that, didn't announce it, didn't hand in jury slips, and therefore the courts have said it didn't count. They said their version was that we didn't know it was all or nothing. Since we were deadlocked on 1 of the 3 counts and 2 of them we thought she was not guilty, we just thought it was we have to just say deadlocked on everything. So that was where the confusion was.
Yep.
And so we really do have a unique situation where she very well may have been found not guilty on 2 of the counts. It was the first person in Massachusetts history, I think, to then be retried. However, the law is pretty clear that you need to announce it in open court, hand in jury slips, etc. So it was not a surprise that the Supreme Court did turn this down, and that's the end of the game, really. That's the final word.
Yeah, was it judicial error from what you've just outlined there? And there was nowhere else for her to go? She went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. They just wouldn't hear it. Go ahead.
Right. No, I wouldn't say it was judicial error. The judge followed the way the law is written now, that when you find somebody not guilty, it's you got to tell it in open court. And she was backed up by, I mean, they appealed it to the state appeals court and the state Supreme Judicial Court and the federal courts and the U.S. Supreme Court. And everybody has backed up the judge. So I guess that's the way the law is, but it's still something of an unfair situation, but completely legal what happened.
All right. Well, not judicial error, but just peculiar to that particular law that they were applying. NBC 10's Katie Benoit's been up there. Katie, there was testimony today. Again, the jury's back in court, having had the view last week. They went out to the scene of the crime. There were some accident reconstruction people who were brought in, and then the jury did not hear that. What was the point of that? Why are these experts, accident reconstruction people, brought in, but outside the jury's listening to it? Why?
So basically, there's been some issues. There's some things the Commonwealth still wants to figure out. Now, the first trial, these ARCCA witnesses, they were hired by the federal government and they testified for the defense, but the defense, painted them as independent experts in the trial. So there were some questions about communications between the ARCCA experts and the defense, how close their relationship was in the first trial. And turns out there was a bill that ended up being sent to the defense after the first trial was done. So the Commonwealth wanted these witnesses, these expert witnesses, to come in today and talk about their relationship with the defense. Hank Brennan really questioned the experts. Things get heated a little bit during court, but basically without the jury, they can kind of solve some problems, hear some testimony, things they wouldn't want the jury to hear just yet.
All right. ARCCA means accident reconstruction. Peter, should I pay attention to what happened outside of the jury's listening today, or should I just ignore it if you're trying to follow this case? Is that central to anything here, or they came in, it was more procedural stuff for the judge?
Yes, it really was. This was kind of everything about this case is very unusual. Every time we talk about this case, we go, gee, I never saw this one before. But these experts, reconstruction experts, were hired by the feds, and independent investigation had nothing to do with the defense or prosecution here. And what they said is that the Karen Reed's, O'Keefe's injuries were not consistent with being hit by a car. So when they finally got permission to kind of testify at the state trial, and they didn't change their testimony, whatever they had said to the feds, stayed with it. But the judge was concerned because the defense did talk to them about a lot of things before the trial and didn't let the court know, because you're supposed to, certainly defense or prosecution could have talked to these people beforehand, these experts, before they testified. But you're supposed to let the judge and the court know that, yes, we had conversations. And ultimately, after the trial was over, ARCCA sent a bill to the defense, which the defense paid. They said they didn't know about it beforehand. But the judge when she found out about this, was very upset that nobody knew about this relationship, even though it was fine what the ARCCA people would have testified on.
Well, for our purposes, just a layman watching at home, that really gets in the weeds. But this we could all understand. This is the infamous text, or rather, the infamous Google search done by someone inside that home. How long does it take a body to die? That we all get. Katie, set that up for us. Who did the Google search? Who do we suspect did the Google search?
Mhm. So Jennifer McCabe, when she testified the last time around, claims that Karen Reed asked her at the scene. Jen McCabe was with Karen when they found John O'Keefe outside, and she claims that Karen asked her to do this search. Now, when the experts were looking at the cell phone data, there was a timestamp that said 2:27. So there was some confusion about what time this search actually happened. Did it happen before John O'Keefe was found or after John O'Keefe was found? So this has kind of been a controversial thing that's gone back and forth. The defense has their own witness who will come in and testify. But today we heard from a Celebrate expert, the Commonwealth's expert, and he came in and said that search didn't happen at 2:27. It happened later on after John O'Keefe's body was found.
All right, let's hear from this expert. He's a computer forensics person. He can go in and find anything he wants to on your computer, provided you haven't bleached it or bleached bit it. Let's listen to this guy talking about how he found this text or this Google search, how long it's taken a body to die. Play it, play that.
It's 24:18. There's a second search submitted using the same method. So still using the Safari search bar, this time searching for Hoss long to die in cold.
And there's actually a second bite with Ian. Play that as well. He was one of the witnesses today. Again, a computer forensics guy who went in and found this Google search.
24:33. How close is the phone to that flagpole?
I believe very close.
And you ever see the car or the phone stop anywhere near that driveway?
No.
All right, Peter, back to you for just a second. Is there anything, this Google search, how long does it take a body to die in the snow? Obviously, it sounds like it's incriminating somebody, but is there any way that this could be looked at a different way? That, well, if somebody is panicking and concerned and really wants to know how long was he out there, is there any way that the defense can spin this?
Well, not that way. Let me explain. The key is what time it was made, because if, as the defense said, the timestamp said 2:27 a.m.,
right,
that would be like, if we could confirm that, that would be proof positive, I guess, that they knew that he was lying out there hours and hours before he was discovered.
Okay.
Now, this is where we get into the battle of the experts. I hate to use that cliched phrase, but prosecution is saying, no, the timestamp is wrong. And they all kinds of technical reasons why they actually did it, because they were panicked. And after they found the body in the snow, at some point, somebody was curious at 6. So that's at 6 after 6 a.m.
Okay.
So that is the key issue that the experts are going to battle on. Was that statement made at 2:27 a.m., which would be really nail the case and be good for the defense, or was it made after 6 o'clock? So therefore, it's not at 6 a.m. and therefore it doesn't mean anything. It was just a concerned person.
I follow the significance of the timing more so than the significance of the body of the Google search. Just talk about the body of the Google search, though. That's most people can understand now. Why would somebody, are they searching it for nefarious reasons, or searching it just because they're concerned? There's a body found outside. How long does it take?
Well, right. And but it would be very coincidental that if the defense's whole thing is that he was beaten up and they took his body and let it lay out in the snow there.
Yep.
And if it could be determined that was made at 2:27 in the morning, that somebody, inside the house perhaps was Googling that and curious how long it was going to take him to die out there, that would be strong evidence that he was beaten up in the house and they laid him out there. Why else would anybody be curious out of that? It's just too coincidental. However, as we say, the prosecution says no. It makes a lot of sense that somebody after he'd been lying out there and his body was discovered after 6 o'clock in the morning.
When this comes up in open court with the jury listening, are they framing it? Are they serving it up so that the jury is getting the significance of the timing, or are they just making their arguments and hoping the jury puts 2 and 2 together?
No, they are. Each side is going to argue that very strongly, and they're going to argue that probably even at the end of the trial, in the closing arguments, they're each going to argue their this thing on the timeline, which is so crucial. So yeah, I think they are going to. They're going to really serve that up to the jury on a silver platter and really point out the significance about why would you, be curious about how long it takes the body to die in the snow, unless you just put the body out there in the snow. So the jury will definitely get be told why that's relevant.
All right. And Katie, just one more time, the person who was actually doing the Google search, are both sides disagreeing on who did the search, or was this pretty much agreement on the person who did the search?
There's agreement on who did the search, but again, we'll hear it down the line from the defense expert who will say something different. At least last time around, she said something different than the Commonwealth's expert. So kind of like Peter was saying, these battling experts we'll expect to hear from on both sides throughout the trial.
Right. Well, listen, you and I, we're all just going over this, and you two are really plugged in, but you could see how just the average person at home maybe saying, what is that again? What is that again? You think that's a problem for the jury too? You really have to be tuned in, and at some point you lose their attention, Peter.
I don't know. Actually, this all, I think, goes to the benefit of the defense, because if the jury, if they're hearing both sides and they hear two experts, let's say, argue with each other, and the jury winds up scratching their head and say, I don't know, I heard two stories, I don't know who to believe, then that goes to the idea of, was the case proven beyond a reasonable doubt? It's like the old baseball phrase, tie goes to the runner. And if the jury at the end of this trial says, gee, we heard two stories, we don't really know, we're not really sure, at that point, then you have to acquit. You'd say it wasn't proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, they certainly are laying that foundation. Peter, thanks. We'll join you again. Appreciate your time. Katie Benoit, you keep covering for us. And folks, keep watching our daily debrief on all the court action in the Karen Read retrial. We do it every day after 5 o'clock when court is over. I'm Gene Valicenti for now. We'll see you on the news at 6.
Look who I got. My mom brought my Zeke. Oh, I love him. Oh, I love him. Hold on, puppy. Hold on, puppy. Hold on. Let's say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Look at the Zekiest, or the cutest, the Zekiest. He's the cutest boy. He had fun today, didn't you? He got to run so fast. You met some little kids. They rubbed your tummy. Huh? You got to run fast all through the field. Huh, Bubba? It's my boy. That's my boy. Look up there, Bubby. Look, you're famous. You're famous. You're famous. You see yourself? Look at his little balls. Look at his little balls. Oh, he's so cute. Okay. I love him so much. I love him so much. What you up to, bub? You want to watch some Karen Read with me? You want to watch some Karen Read, baby? Okay, let's watch. I'll put on something else. What do you want to watch? Let's see. Let's see what else we can watch, Bubba's. I have a couple other videos. Hold on. Hold on. Let's find another one we could watch really cool. Let me play one more since I have them before, then I'll read that article. But let's hold on, babies. What's on? What's on? That one's pretty long. I'm gonna play. See what this one is all about. Hold on 1 second, Bubba. Let me play this. Oh, my earphones are about to fall out. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's play this one. It's only 2 minutes, but oh, hold on. I forgot to share the screen. I forgot to share, Ziki. It's all your fault. I'm just joking. Okay.
Manash Kwangwari live outside of Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham this morning. Manash, sounds like the jury has a half day today, but there's more business the defense and the prosecution they need to take care of, right?
It's a dispute about crash expert witnesses the defense put on during the first trial. The prosecution says the defense violated a court order by not revealing the extent of their communication. The defense is obviously fighting back. And again, this day comes after more than 10 witnesses have already taken the stand. We've heard from some of the first responders that were first on the scene. We heard from John O'Keefe's mom and a good friend of John O'Keefe's. But the jury on Friday got to visit the scene where John O'Keefe's body was found, and you're taking a look at it right now. As we know, Karen Reed is accused of killing John O'Keefe by backing her SUV into him while dropping him off at this location, 34 Fairview Road in Canton. This home was formerly owned by a man named Brian Albert. As you can see, it looks a little different now than it did 3 years ago, but some things remain the same, like the flagpole. Jurors were asked to take a look at the scene to get a better understanding of the layout. They were also shown Reed's SUV, the alleged murder weapon, before coming back to court and hearing testimony. And perhaps the most notable part of that testimony, a doctor revealed a blood sample from Karen Reed was taken at 9:08 a.m., hours after O'Keefe was found, and Reed had a blood alcohol content of 0.093. The legal limit for driving in mass is 0.08. Now, the defense says Reed has anemia and multiple sclerosis, which may have affected that BAC reading. In any event, court should resume in just a few hours, so we'll see how that all plays out. For right now, we're live here in Dedham. Minash Kongwari, NBC 10 Boston.
Thank you, Minash. NBC 10 Boston, where
Multiple sclerosis, did they say? I didn't know she had that. Is that what they said? Multiple sclerosis? What? I didn't know she had that. Okay, Bubby, hold on. Did I hear that right? Did you guys know that? Huh. Bubba. What's wrong, Bubs? We realized that my grandma can't have Zeke anymore because she's just crazy. She just, as far as sleeping with her. So that's why my mom brought him up. But I don't think he's going to, if I don't go to bed, like that's the thing. I can't go to bed at freaking 7 in the morning if I don't go to bed at like when she goes to bed and then, because my mom doesn't want him jumping on, because she doesn't have my grandma sleeps in the other room, doesn't have a door. So he'll go and just jump on her bed. And then, so when she goes to bed at 7:30, so it's like, if I don't go to bed at 7:30, then he's going to jump on her bed. My mom doesn't want him to sleep with her anymore because it keeps her up. He can't even put up his head or something. She wants him to lay down. He can't move, and she just goes nuts. And so anyway, long story short is my mom's not ready for bed either. So she brought him up here, which I would be glad. I mean, he could stay up here, but I'm not going to bed at 7:30. I'm not going to go to bed at 7:30. Or what time is it? 8 o'clock. I mean, sometimes I do just so I could sleep with him and I'll just watch YouTube, but I can't today. I'm still doing this live, and then I got this, I'm still awake. I'm talking to you guys like you have a say, no, I can't do it. But okay, so let me play. I have one more, and I'm gonna go see what my mom wants to do. Hold on while I'm playing it. 1 second. And no, Laura, that's the one I wanted. Yes, it is about his case, but it's definitely relevant to her case because it's the corruptness. So wait, hold on 1 second. Let me play this one, and then I'm gonna go see what my mom wants me to do here. Okay.
Day in the murder retrial of Karen Reed, not to mention disappointing news for the defense from the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah, the country's top court says it will not review the high-profile case. John Maroney joins us live from Norfolk Superior Court with the latest developments. John?
Lots of talk about cell phones and battery temperatures, plus the special prosecutor came down hard on a controversial defense witness.
Did you analyze John O'Keefe's phone?
John O'Keefe's cell phone, a key piece of evidence, and the murder retrial of Karen Reed, who's pleaded not guilty to hitting him with her SUV and leaving him to die in a blizzard.
I was more interested in location and health and anything else that could be useful.
Prosecution witness and forensic expert Ian Whiffen testified regarding data from O'Keefe's phone related to location, health, and battery temperature. He says O'Keefe only took 36 steps on the front yard at 34 Fairview Road and ended up near a flagpole where his phone didn't move for more than 5 hours.
The battery temperature data never indicates that the device went from a cold environment to a warm environment.
Whiffen says everything indicates O'Keefe never went inside the Canton home, where the defense alleges he was assaulted as part of a conspiracy that resulted in his death.
My opinion is that the device never moved far away from the flagpole.
Whiffen examined Jen McCabe's controversial cell phone search, how long to die in the cold. The defense says it occurred at 2:27:40 a.m. because McCabe knew O'Keefe was left dying in the snow. Whiffen says the search actually took place on the same browser that was still open with the same timestamp.
Don't hide behind the jury. I'm talking about your communications with the defense.
After the jurors had gone home, prosecutor Hank Brennan pressed Dan Wolf, an accident reconstruction expert from ARCCA. The state says the defense hasn't been upfront about its relationship with the company, hoping to keep them off the stand.
Do you feel like you're an advocate for the defense?
No, sir.
Are you sure about that?
Sir, I'm on the science and the analysis that I've done. That's the side that I'm on.
You sure are.
Now, in other developments and without explanation, the U.S. Supreme Court said that it would not review Karen Reed's case. She's been looking to have 2 of 3 charges against her dismissed, including second-degree murder. Well, Avendum, John Maroney, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, John, thank you. And of course, remember, our team at NBC Boston is your source for Karen Reed's second murder trial. We're going to carry the
Okay, so yeah, no, I knew about the Crohn's and anemia. That doesn't surprise me, but this is the first hearing about the multiple sclerosis. But yeah, Cassie, that's what they just said. And then the Crohn's, yes, that was definitely because I mean that was a part of so that she does have an anemia, like I said, anemia. But wow, multiple sclerosis. Dang it! Did everybody know that? Huh? The multiple sclerosis? Wow. See, that's the thing with these news clips. It's like, I feel like some of it's repetitive, but like, I feel like I always learn something from them, something that I didn't know before. It's like, wow. Okay. So Zeke had to, he was scratching because he doesn't want to just like, if I'm not giving him all my attention and I'm sitting here on my live, he doesn't want to just sit here. I wish he would just like, I would set up a bed and I wish he would just like hang out and I do my live and he could be here, but he won't do it. Even when I was in my room, I had it where he could be on my bed behind me. And I thought, oh, he'll probably do that. One time, I think he only did it one time. He stayed back there. If it's like maybe if he's real tired and just doesn't care, but most of the time he wants all the attention. If he don't get it, he's out. He's out. Okay, so let me read that article. Turtle Boy. It is, I'm pretty sure from what the other channel going over it does have to do with his case, but it's still relevant. I haven't read this actual article yet, so let's see. I gotta find his actual. Oh, this is his. Okay, never mind. I thought this was something else. Thanks. This is the exact one I was trying to find. Thank you. It's the actual article, the video that I was watching. They went over this exact. It was this page. This is. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. Laura, thank you for that. All right, let me share this real quick. Let me take this off. All right, so let me add this right there and add it. Okay. It's so weird seeing Canton because I'm from Canton. I'm in Canton right now, but it's Canton, Ohio. I didn't even realize there was another Canton, but chances are there's always another same city. But it's just crazy hearing that and then seeing Canton and it's not here. Okay, so let me make this bigger. We'll read this real quick. God, I got to get a freaking ad blocker. Dang it. The one I had, it was just limiting all the security. It was just limited everything. But dang it. It's annoying. Okay. Can't cover up part 508. Sworn affidavit alleges Commonwealth agent Kate Peter was paid $1,500 monthly, bribed with couch by Jen McCabe to spread disinformation about Karen Reed while working directly with Hank Brennan and Michael Morrissey. Wow, wait, that was a mouthful here. So wait. And the sworn affidavit is here, which we'll read too. Okay, so let me try to say this again here. Can't cover up. Okay. Commonwealth agent Kate Peter was paid $1,500 monthly, bribed with couch by Jennifer McCabe to spread disinformation about Karen Reed while working directly with Hank Brennan and Michael Morrissey. So they mean like couch, like a couch you sit on? So not only was she paid $1,500, but Jen gave her bribe with a couch? I don't know. Am I silly and that means something else, the couch part? Anyway, so let's see. Oh, let's see what this, I wouldn't mind seeing what this person's.
To me, it's double jeopardy. They're trying her again, but I'm out here to.
Why won't this let me?
For a second time for the murder of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, who was a Boston police officer. People are outraged about that. I think it's a waste of money and it's a waste of time, and that they have the wrong person.
But to me, it's double jeopardy. They're trying her again, but I'm out here to show her support. We want changes.
Let me show you how lab-grown diamonds can make luxury affordable. If you're dreaming about...
How do I make this on mute? So I don't know. Okay. Last October, look at all this. Let me make this one more bigger. Okay. Last October, my attorney, Mark Betterow, filed a letter with the court. So this is Turtle Boy's, look, Turtle Boy Daily News. Okay. So it's him talking, right? So last October, my attorney, Mark Betterow, filed a letter with the court sent to Special Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove detailing how Lindsay Gaetani's phone extraction revealed text messages showing that Gaetani, I don't know how you say Gaetani, Kate Peter, disgraced State Trooper Leha Gendosa, Special Prosecutor Ken Mello, and Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully conspired to set me up for witness intimidation charges that led to 60 days of incarceration. We requested that Cosgrove respond to the bombshell allegations by providing us with discovery relating to Peter's communications with the DA's office, since she has claimed under oath in court to be an agent of the Commonwealth. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you guys, oh, there we go. It has been 6 months and we have received nothing. So today we filed a motion to compel discovery in the witness intimidation against me. The motion included a sworn affidavit from a woman who has been friends with Peter for the last year and provided evidence that Peter, aka Mafia Masshole, has been paid off by the Norfolk County DA's office to spread misinformation. So here is the affidavit. Aiding Kearney respectfully moves that the Honorable Court, blah, 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 compel that the production of the discovery detail below, which has been requested from the prosecution multiple times since October 8th, in which disclosure is required by prior orders of this court and imposed Rule 14, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so specifically the defense has made 3 letter demands for ordered and or required discovery concerning civilian Catherine Peter, who on information and belief is working as an agent for the Commonwealth in their prosecutions against Mr. Kearney and Karen Reed. Wow. And then this note, let's see what this note says. See, letters of Mark Betterow, a special agent Special Assistant District Attorneys Robert Cosgrove, dated October 8th, 2024, and October 17th and March 29th, 2025, Ms. Peters' relationship with the Commonwealth and the prosecution's required obligations under Rule 14, Brady and Giglio, constitute the entire substance of the October 8th letter demands. All these letters have been previously filed with the court. Okay, sorry. Sometimes those side notes are good, but okay. So, although our first demand was made more than 6 months ago, the prosecution has neither. Where's the rest of it? Oh. Has neither provided the defense with any of the requested discovery, nor indicated that none of the requested items or information are within the possession, custody, or control of the prosecutor. I have to take these off when I'm reading them. Okay, I have to reshare my audio because I'm like feel like I'm screaming with them on. Okay. Where are we at? The provided, okay, where? So they haven't given. They haven't provided the defense with any of the requested discovery. Where are we at? So see Rule 14 as amended on March 1st, 2025. Indeed, the prosecution hasn't responded at all to any of the demands made in October 8th, 17th, March 29th, on this, all those dates I just read, all of which describe in great detail the good faith basis for our belief that the prosecution is in possession of evidence that requires disclosure. In addition to the outstanding discovery demands referenced above, Mr. Kearney's defense has since received further confirmation that such evidence exists. Significantly, this evidence is described in the sworn affidavit of an acquaintance of Ms. Peter, a copy of which is attached here too as Exhibit A, as detailed by the sworn statement of the witness. Ms. Peter has admitted to the witness that she has had a long-standing relationship in which she has assisted the Commonwealth in their efforts to prosecute Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed. Ms. Peters' relationship with the Commonwealth and its key witnesses against Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed includes evidence that, among other things, but let me read this again. Hold on. With the Commonwealth. Wow. Okay, so this is what she's done. Regularly speaks to and meets with Reed's prosecutors. Receives monthly payments from the Commonwealth in exchange for assistance against Mr. Kearney and Miss Reed. Received items of value from key witness Jennifer McCabe. Was granted de facto immunity from prosecution in exchange for her assistance with the Commonwealth. And then this note right here where it says, regularly speaks to and meets the Reed prosecutors. Miss Reed's relationship with Special Prosecutor Kenneth Mello. Mrs. Peters' relationship with Special Prosecutors Kenneth Mello and Massachusetts State Police are detailed on October 8th, 2024 demand at page 312. Wow, that's just crazy. All right, let's see what the next page, because these are all separate. Okay. So altered, destroyed, and or disposed of material evidence, including the contents of her cell phone that would be favorable to Mr. Kearney, admitted her intent to start rumors about Mr. Kearney's purported harassment of jurors to further the Commonwealth's unsuccessful effort to ban Mr. Kearney from covering the Reed case, uses her social media platforms to help the Commonwealth circumvent a gag order in the Reed case, stalked, harassed, and spied on Mr. Kearney, Miss Reed, one of Miss Reed's attorneys, and supporters of Miss Reed, and admitted that Lindsay Gattani lied about a material fact relevant to her criminal allegations against Mr. Kearney. Wow. Significantly, according to the witness sworn statement, Miss Peter admitted to her that Miss Jennifer McCabe issued an ultimatum directly to District Attorney Morrissey in exchange for her favorable testimony against Miss Reed. Wow. She would not testify until Turtle Boy is in jail. Miss Peter further told the witness, when Miss McCabe was told that the Commonwealth can simply subpoena her, she implied that if her demands were not met, we would alter her testimony in a manner designed to harm the Commonwealth's case against Miss Reed. What? Well, dude, so she's saying, she further told the witness, when Miss Cabe was told that the Commonwealth can simply subpoena her, because yeah, they could just subpoena her, she implied that if her demands were not met, we would alter her testimony in a manner designed to harm Commonwealth's case against Miss Reed. So we is on information and belief. Miss Cabe's use of the word we means that in addition to herself, other key prosecution to whom she's close with also would not testify favorably for the prosecution unless Mr. Kearney was in jail. The prosecution still hasn't complied fully with its obligation to provide any discoverable electronic communications from representatives of the DA's office, including DA Morrissey, and the witness against Mr. Kearney. Wow, this is crazy if this is all really true. Like, what the heck? Wow. Where are we at now? See Exhibit A. Miss Peter further admitted to the witness that on March 16th, 2025, she met with Miss McCabe and DA Morrissey in Braintree. When the witness saw Miss Peter shortly after that meeting, Miss Peter had a manila envelope with her. Let me see. The prosecution still hasn't complied fully with its. Oh, I already read that. Okay, so that's 3. Okay, 4. None of the foregoing items or information has been provided to the defense team by the Commonwealth, despite several prior requests in addition to the pre-existing Rule 14 obligation. Based upon the information provided by the witness sworn statement in the contents of our 3 previous letter demands, there's a strong reason to believe that there exists discoverable information and material in the Commonwealth's possession, custody, and control, whether the Kearney or Reed prosecution team, related to Miss Peters' involvement with the Commonwealth and or witness who will testify against Mr. Kearney, sorry. Let me read that last part again without reading that. So there's a strong reason to believe that there exists discoverable information and material in the Commonwealth's possession, custody, and control related to Miss Peters' involvement with the Commonwealth and or witnesses who will testify against Mr. Kearney. The prosecutor also has a duty to inform each member of the prosecution team whom he has reason to believe may be in possession, custody, or control of discoverable items or information, and to then inquire of each person as to the existence of such items or information. Wow. So thus, at a minimum, the prosecutor must address the issues raised in the affidavit and letter demands with DA Morrissey, Hank Brennan, Adam Lally, Laura McLaughlin, Miss Peter, Miss McCabe, Kenneth Mello, Brian Tully, and John Fanning. Any discoverable evidence then must be immediately collected and promptly disclosed to his defense. This, of course, includes prompt disclosure of any evidence that the Reed prosecution team has in their possession custody, or control which adversely impacts the credibility of any witness against Mr. Kearney, otherwise favors him or casts doubt on the case against him. The Commonwealth's disclosure obligation to Mr. Kearney remains irrespective of any. Wait, hold on, let me read that again. The Commonwealth's disclosure obligation to Mr. Kearney remains irrespective of any purported view of the evidence reliability, credibility, admissibility, and without regard to whether the information has been documented in any manner. Rule 14. In other words, where the subject matter is discoverable, the prosecution must promptly disclose any information derived from conversations or interviews between or among Ms. Peter, the relevant witness against Mr. Kearney, and any members of the Kearney and Reed prosecution teams, even if it was not memorialized in any way. Wherefore, Mr. Kearney respectfully requests that the court order production of the requested and any other outstanding discovery within 14 days of the date of this motion, promptly schedule a hearing thereafter on the issue of sanctions under Rule 14 for unexcused failure to provide discovery and for the misconduct of a government agent, issue an order to show cause upon the Commonwealth at an evidentiary hearing as to why the case should not be dismissed with prejudice or be subject of such other relief as is authorized by Rule 14. Any such other relief as the court deems just. Respectfully, Aidan Kearney, defendant by his attorneys. Okay. And then this one, I'm sure. Just the, yeah, certify. But wonder, this one is affidavit of who? Because Commonwealth versus Aidan. Let's see what this is. Now comes the undersigned, and there's redacted on oath, and hereby states the following to the best of her knowledge, recollection, information, and belief under penalties of perjury this 21st day of April 2025. My name is redacted. I reside in Massachusetts. I'm the age and competent to make this affidavit. I have been friendly with Catherine Peter, hereinafter Peter, for close to a year. I have had multiple conversations and face-to-face interactions with Peter. Peter volunteered information to me about the Karen Reed case countless times throughout our friendship. All factual representations below are from what Peter told me about her involvement in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney cases. During Karen Reed's first trial, she was in regular communication with Adam Lally. Oh, district attorney. What is it? Assistant district attorney or wait, so let me read that again though. During Karen Reed's first trial, she was in regular communication with Adam Lally. At one point prior to jury deliberations, Peter met with Adam Lally for lunch. During this lunch meeting, Adam Lally told Peter that he knows the foreperson who, wow, that's messed up, who is a retired police officer, and he, the juror, is guaranteeing a mistrial. This is what was verbally reported to me by Peter. That is messed up. So this witness that they're keeping anonymous, which is good, is saying that Miss Peter, the one that's paid off, is a friend and is telling her that Lally, one of the prosecutors in the first trial, is saying, wow, that he knows the freaking, that's crazy. The foreman of Karen Reed's first trial and is guaranteeing a mistrial. I want to hear what that one guy, the guy that's going around, the juror from last year, is making his rounds. Somebody said, but he's doing interviews. He said he voted not guilty. I mean, he didn't, he doesn't think she's guilty. I want to know what he has to say about the foreman. Like, what did he, what was it? The foreman that was? Did it seem like the foreman was the one kind of like somehow doing this? Was it obvious that he was kind of creating a mistrial in a way, or what the heck, dude? Okay, let's see. This is interesting. See how Laura, that most definitely has to do with this trial too, or with Karen Reed's case. What do you mean scam now? What are you saying scam? I don't know what you're, no, I didn't hear about a scam. Scam or scandal or let me read the rest of this. Okay. She told me she has paid $1,500 each month. So remember, this person is friends with Miss Peter, which is telling her this stuff. So she's paid Mrs. Peter, which they're just calling Peter, said she's getting paid $1,500 each month via Cash App for her assistance in the Karen Reed and Aiden Kearney prosecutions. Peter believes that Karen Reed is innocent, but she has to play the game. I interpret this to mean Peter's role is to publicly promote and advocate on social media that Miss Reed is guilty. Peter opined to me that if anyone killed John, it was blank, an asshole. Wow. Peter is very close with Hank Brennan and has had multiple conversations in meetings with him. I have personally heard Peter on the phone with Hank Brennan. During a phone conversation between Peter and Hank Brennan that I was present for and personally recognized Hank Brennan's voice, Peter told him that her people leaked it to the media, referring to the federal investigation being over. So she's saying she heard Miss Peter actually tell Brennan on a phone conversation that her people leaked it to the media, referring to the federal investigation being over. So that's bad because if it's not over and like she made it seem like it was, and it's over, there's nothing, no corruption, nothing to be, you know what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm thinking. That's what they're saying, right? Just to say that so that the media spreads that, and then it makes it look like, there's nothing, they didn't find anything, there's no corruption. I don't know. Am I understanding that right? As of April 15th, 2025, Peter is not talking directly to Hank anymore. We're using a third party to communicate now. Peter states that she is untouchable because everything she's doing to assist the prosecution, and that no matter what violations I'm charged with, Morrissey is keeping me out of jail. Peter asked me to go stalk Karen Reed in the seaport with her and stated that Karen Reed stays at the Omni Hotel. Wow. She stated to me that we can take photos to sell to the Daily Mail and that she has done that before. Peter informed me that Jennifer McCabe bought her brand new sectional as compensation for her assistant. So it is a couch, like an actual couch. I thought, is that code for something or something? I don't know. Maybe some terminology that I don't know. It's an actual couch. Oh my God. Wow. Peter was told by Jennifer McCabe that Jennifer McCabe informed Michael Morrissey that she is not testifying unless Turtle Boy is in jail. Michael Morrissey informed Jennifer McCabe that he would have to subpoena her. And that Jennifer McCabe then told Michael Morrissey, then we won't say what you want us to say. Wait, we won't say what you want us to say? What? Peter got rid of her phone the day after Aiden Kearney announced on his live show that he was looking to get personal communications of Michael Morrissey. Peter said to me, they will never get the communications between me and Morrissey. The day that Peter showed up to protest at the Karen Reed trial, Peter informed me Jen McCabe paid me for her show of support. On March 16th, 2025, Peter told me that she went to meet with Michael Morrissey and Jen McCabe at an undisclosed location in Braintree. When Peter returned home, she had a manila envelope in her hands. Peter has informed me that she has seen emails that are subject to a protective order between the Karen Reed prosecution team and Jennifer McCabe. Peter reported to me that upon request of Hank Brennan, she provided the spreadsheet of all the free Karen Facebook supporters to the Commonwealth for this upcoming trial. Sorry. Wow. Peter reported to me that upon request of Hank Brennan, she provided the spreadsheet of all the free Karen Reed Facebook supporters. Wow. For the trial, Peter told me that Hank Brennan is providing information to the federal authorities regarding Reed and Aiden Kearney because he wants them in jail for the trial. Wow. Peter told me she's going to start rumors about jurors being afraid to serve because Turtle Boy will go after them. And everyone is working overtime to make sure Turtle Boy can't be in court from the courtroom for the trial. Oh, wait, wrong way. Peter admitted to me that she created the image of Karen Reed and Alan Jackson embracing that was given to the Daily Mail. There must be another one because I saw the video. So which one, Lauren, do you have this one? The embracing? What does that even mean? Embracing. In early January, Peter and I were discussing the Lindsay Gattani case. Gattani. I don't know if I know that. Which case is that? Against Aiden Kearney. Oh, never mind. Okay, so it's his case. So the Lindsay Gattani case against Aiden Kearney. I mentioned something about Gattani being pregnant at the time. And I'm probably saying the name wrong, so don't come at me. I get a lot of corrections, all the names I get wrong. Anyway, I mentioned something about Gattani being pregnant at the time. And Peter interrupted me saying Lindsay was never pregnant. Wait, let me read that again. Okay, so in early January, Peter and I were discussing the Lindsay Gattani case against Aiden Kearney. I mentioned something about Gattani being pregnant at the time, and Peter interrupted me saying Lindsay was never pregnant. I'm aware that Peter and Gattani were close friends in the past and worked together against Mr. Kearney. See, I don't know the specifics of that. So what does her being pregnant have to do with that case? See, I don't know. I don't know what that means because I don't know. Were they using her being pregnant somehow for something in that case and then so they lied about her being pregnant? I don't know because I'm not up to date with all these little the little stuff going on. I'm learning because I'm now covering this case. I'm learning all this stuff that you guys probably have been learning for the last year. So I understand that I'm not represented by any attorneys connected to the Aiden Kearney and Karen Reed defense teams. And that I am turning over this information because it is important to know the truth about what is going on. I'm not being coerced or compensated, and I'm doing this of my own free will. Dang it, man. What the heck? All right, here's the rest of this article. It says, specifically, the defense has made three letter demands for ordered and or required discovery concerning civilian Catherine Peter, who on information and belief is working as an agent for the Commonwealth. In their prosecutions against Mr. Kearney and Karen Reed, Although our first demand was made more than 6 months ago, the prosecution has neither provided the defense with any requested discovery nor indicated that none of the requested items or information are within the possession, custody, or control of the prosecutor. Yeah, I guess this is just the summary of those articles or of those documents. I don't need to read those two because they're, who is this? Is this somebody? Is this a part of it? Let me go smaller and see what, is this just like a, no. What is that? Is that just a ad? Or who is that? Oh, it is somebody. I don't know what anybody looks like. Is that, okay, what does this say? The identity of the woman who signed this affidavit was impounded to ensure her safety. She has been friendly with Peter for the last year, having several face-to-face interactions and speaking on the phone about the Karen Reed and Turtle Boy criminal cases. Peter trusted this woman who she barely knew and volunteered information proving that she is heavily involved in both cases. I've been friendly with Catherine Peter for close to a year. I've had multiple conversations, face-to-face interactions with Peter. Peter volunteered information to me about Karen Reed case countless times through our friendship. All factual representations below are from what Peter told me about her involvement in the Karen Reed and Aiden Kearney case. According to the source, Miss Peter met with Karen Reed prosecutor Adam Lally for lunch, and Lally told her that he knew that the jury foreman, Ryan Petrowski, was a former police officer and guaranteed a mistrial. Wow. So she's saying, wait, according to the source, Miss Peter met with Karen Reed, prosecutor Adam. So Adam, remember, Adam's the one that did the opening statement for the first trial. He's yeah, you guys know who he is, right? I mean, I'm trying to think of who he did for this trial so far. So if anybody doesn't know, can picture him. But yeah, he's another boring one. So he told her he knew the jury. That's crazy though, dude. If that's happening, how can they do something about that? Can they prove that? Is it too late since we're on the second trial? Because that right there. Well, I guess what would that create? A retrial, which she's getting a retrial anyway, right? Wouldn't that be what it would happen anyway? But dang it, that's messed up. Oh. Ooh, who is that? Wait, let me see. Let me read this. So it says during Karen Reed's first trial, she was in regular communication with Adam Lally. I already read that part. Yeah. At one point prior to jury deliberations, Peter met with Adam for lunch. During this lunch, Adam told Peter that he knows the person who's a retired police officer and he's guaranteed a mistrial. This is what was verbally reported to me by Peter. Pharmacy and health science. Oh, they're saying that's him. Okay. I thought they said, oh, he was a police officer. Now he's a pharmacist or, huh? Oh, vascular surgery. Vascular surgery, PA. Full-time patrolman. Duties include, oh, so he was from 2006 to 2011, patrolman. Duties included vigorous patrol and enforcement of traffic and criminal laws, answering complaints, conducting investigations, promoting community relations activities, transportation of prisoners, and crime prevention. And now he's a vascular surgery. Wait. So this is, wow. Miss Peter told the source that she has sent $1,500 cash app every month for her assistance in the Karen Reed Turtle Boy prosecution. Peter also confessed that she believes Karen's innocent, but she has to play the game by publicly promoting and advocating on social media that Reed is guilty. She told the sources that she believes John O'Keefe was killed by someone inside 34 Fairview Road, whose name was redacted on the affidavit. Wow. The source is also present for the phone. Okay, so they know there's a lot of repeating, but they added a little bit. So let's see if there's anything added in this. Told Brennan there are people leaked information to the media. Okay, that something was reported by that the federal investigation was over. Something that was reported by anti-Karen Reed Twitter trolls prior to Ted Daniel reporting the same thing. Peter told the source that due to her assistance of the Commonwealth's prosecution of me, no matter what violations I'm charged with, Morrissey's keeping me out of jail. It should be noted that Miss Peter is currently being charged with violating a restraining order against a victim she stalked and terrorized for a year, and not one, but two Norfolk County courts, Dedham and Stoughton, in addition to two felony witness intimidation charges in Dedham and Leominster District Courts. Dang it. What the heck? The source claims that Miss Peter asked the source to join her and go stalk Karen in Seaport. Okay, yeah. I already read this. We read this already. See if there's anything like extra that says this is entirely consistent with Miss Peter's text messages in which she and Miss Gattani detailed their plan to stalk and harass Karen Reed and her attorney Alan Jackson at the Omni Seaport Hotel on January 4th, 2024. Most shockingly, Miss Peter was told by Jennifer McCabe that Mrs. McCabe threatened Michael Morrissey with withholding her testimony in Karen Reed's retrial. So that'll be interesting to see how she testifies in this. If Morrissey didn't put me in jail, when Morrissey didn't back down and threatened to subpoena her if she didn't testify, McCabe told him that we won't say what you want us to say. That is why David Giannetti filed a motion asking for evidence of any Commonwealth witnesses expressing hesitation to testify at trial. Wow. Huh. Miss Peter told the source that she had followed the lead of Brian Albert and Brian Higgins by getting rid of her phone after I announced that we would be looking to get her personal communications with DA Morrissey. She told the source they will never get the communications between me and Morrissey. On June 28th, 2024, Miss Peter and so-called Food Stamp 5 showed up outside Norfolk Superior Courthouse during jury deliberations to disrupt peaceful supporters fighting for justice for John O'Keefe. She told the source that Jennifer McCabe paid her to do this. Wow. To disrupt the peace, we'll support you for. Additionally, the source says that on March 16th, 2025, she witnessed Miss Peter return home holding a manila envelope, meeting with, so she had the envelope after a meeting with Morrissey McCabe. Okay, let's see if there's anything. I know some of this is repetitive, but because he's writing an article, which is on the document. So but there's some extra little things within the article that's why I keep going through it just to see if I could catch any extra little bits of info that we didn't get yet. Let's see. So I read the articles already. Let's see. Ms. Peter told the source that she has seen emails between Brennan and McCabe that are subject to protective order, and that Brennan asked her to provide him with the spreadsheet for free Karen Facebook supporters before the trial, presumably to weed out potential jurors who would be favorable to the defense. Wow. Huh. That's crazy. Peter told the source that Brennan was providing information to the federal authorities about Karen Reed and Turtleboy because he wants them in jail for the trial. Peter also told the source that he was going to start rumors that she was going to start rumors about the jurors being afraid to serve out of fear that I will go after them with the goal of having me removed from the courtroom during the Karen retrial. She claims that everyone is working overtime to make sure that Turtle Boy can't be in court for the trial. Something Brendan attempted to do by putting me on the witness list. Okay. Man, Miss Peter has been using her online platform to try to keep me out of court for almost a year now. Starting change.org petition, which was unsuccessful. Masshole Mafia prohibit Aiden Kearney from accessing future hearings in the Karen Reed case. Sign the petition. Oh. Wow, they made him look so old and it's like evil was the way they like filtered that and stuff. Wow. Additionally, Miss Peter. Oh, this is the embracing. Miss Peter confessed to the source she was one who created an AI image appearing to show Karen Reed and Alan Jackson embracing outside the steakhouse. Miss Peter told the source that she is well aware that her former friend, Lindsay, was never pregnant and that the two of them conspired to frame me for domestic assault and witness intimidation in order to have me incarcerated on Christmas. So was the whole her being pregnant, the person being like Lindsay being pregnant, because then they try to say like he assaulted a pregnant lady? Is that what? But she never was pregnant? Is that what's going on? I don't get the pregnant thing though. You know what I'm saying? The Norfolk District Attorney's Office and state police are so low that they don't mind associating with the pain of women. Wait, the district, Norfolk. Don't mind where I just lost my check. They don't mind associating with and paying a woman facing serious felony charges in multiple counties to run a Russian-style disinformation campaign in order to subvert justice in the murder trial of Karen Reed. This is a woman who has previously admitted to forging federal court documents in an attempt to have me removed from YouTube. Wow, dude. What the heck? A woman who trespassed at my house and left a threatening note for my family, which she bragged about on social media. Wow. What do you guys think? Let me hear. Oh. Whew. That's crazy. I want to hear your thoughts real quick. So you guys probably already know about this. Wait, hold on. Let me read this. I gotta make this smaller because it's like, oh wait, not this one. I have this zoomed in and I know it doesn't look big to you guys, but it's so, because I want you guys to be able to read it, but it's so big that it's like hurting my eyes almost. Hold on. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, there we go. I want to show, I guess there is more. It's like this never ending here. I just had to take a break, but look at this. This says, Kate Peter, FYI, Aiden's mailbox is on the ground, held up by a effing rope. His soft hands have never touched a hammer before, I'm certain. Less certain about other men's penises. What? What? Oh, I see what they're saying. Like that, certainly he never touched a hammer, but less certain about if he touched. I get it. Okay. Wow. I'm responsible for all your suffering. Blame me. Oh, wow. Look. Oh, wait. I won't read this, but if you guys want to read it, so I don't know who that is. A woman who frequently uses homophobic language in her online threats and voicemails she left on my phone, bragging that she would work with the DA's office to put me in jail. Oh, look, transcription of the, oh, look, the transcription of a voicemail. Let's see what it says to him. It looks like it says, Kate, Peter, you now crusty panties are you guys want to let you know every time I get blocked number, it's not Lindsay or anyone else, it's me. And I just wanted you to know that when you go back in jail, I had absolutely everything to do with it because you're a dumb mother effer, right? And every time you victimize a female, I am going to be right there pushing back. I just want you to know that, please. Just on your effing live show, I'm going to get the best of you. You're a bad person and everybody's going to see it. Have a nice day, by the way. Karen Reed wants nothing to do with you. Go F yourself. I meant it. Wow. What the heck? Whoa. I'm not going to read all that. You guys could read it. What the heck? Who is this? So is he saying like that this Miss Peters behind all this, all these accounts too? Wow. Anyway. Wow, what the heck? Wow. That's what the heck? What? What the? Wow, that's crazy. Okay, that's enough. What the heck? How long is this? I keep thinking, okay, we'll just finish it, but it's like never ending. But it's like my OCD, I want to finish it, but it's like, oh. It's getting bad. Like talking about kids like that. What the heck? Dang it. Wait, this could be interesting. What's this? Can't wait for the call from Holden PD. Hi, Julie. Sorry I missed you. As I leave this note, your husband is leading a parade of morons around to the homes and businesses of state's witnesses in a murder case. He's terrorized these people at home and their children's events numerous times. But good news, it's legal. So I'm a reporter working on a story about his penchant for witness intimidation. And I'm looking for comment from you. Additionally, I took the liberty of sharing your address with these witnesses, friends and family of the murder victim. Not that I needed to, as it's available online. Don't forget your husband has established through his actions that this is illegal. See you around. What the heck? Who aligned themselves with a woman who lost 2 of her children to the state after years of drug-fueled abuse and neglect. March 10th, 2014, mother and father Steve Young signed open adoption agreement for blank and blank. April 2014, young child was discharged from St. Vincent's and reunified with his mother. Blank was reunified with her mother in February 2015, and blank were removed again. Okay. Wow. After hotline response was initiated due to the mother relapsing and going to crisis. The department had concerns regarding mother and her ability to be honest with the department and her mental health issues. July 2016, there was a verbal altercation between Kate and her boyfriend at the time, Andrew Johnson. The argument stemmed from Andrew possibly taking Kate's ADHD medication, Vyvanse. Kate obtained a 209A, and then she and Andrew ended their relationship. The children were returned to Kate's care. The department awarded permanent custody for both children. The department was awarded. Reason for placement. Blank and blank were initially removed from their parents' care due to deplorable home conditions in February of 2012. The parents also have history of domestic violence and substance abuse. Blank was reunified with his mother during April 2014, and blank was reunified in March 2015. The children were removed again on 17th, 2015 due to the mother's relapse. DSF placement history. Stephen was initially placed in the kinship foster home of Miss Benoit, and blank was placed in specialized foster home of Miss D. The grandmother was approved as kinship. Okay, let's see. What the heck? Kate Peter added a new photo. To her as that. So handed a knife from the kitchen. Blank stated Johnson held the handle of the blade and she had her hand on the blade, and when she was holding her hand there, Blank stated that Johnson stated if she didn't let go of the knife, she would slide it while she held it. What? Wow. Blank stated that Johnson was holding her hand to the blade and that he cut her. Blank showed officers after a minuscule cut on her hand, which upon viewing it seemed to be a very superficial cut, which in that light did not appear consistent with a knife laceration in a closed hand, which she said was not bad. Blank then stated that she went to her room following this, stating she wished to put on a bra. Blank stated she closed the door and Johnson opened it, stating she believed he may have thought she was going to do something bad. Blank stated that she said she was going to change her shirt, which Johnson responded with, "Go change in the bathroom." Blank stated she closed the door and Johnson opened it again after. Blank stated that following this, Johnson stated, "Do you want your door taken off?" or words to that effect. Blank stated, or Blank responded with, "Do it." Blank stated that he then took the door off and while doing so was taken up most of the doorway. Blank stated that while trying to exit the room, she brushed by and shoved Johnson, although stating it was not on purpose, and stated that Johnson got in her face. Are you guys bored with this or not? It's interesting to me, but you guys may have already heard this or something. I'm sorry, it is small. Let's see. Upon her return to the room, Blank stated that she said, "Excuse me, Lord Andy," or her words to that effect while entering the room. Blank stated she did not recall what prompted the following argument, however, stated that she and Johnson began arguing again. Blank stated that she began wrestling with Johnson as he shoved her and she began to shove him back. Blank stated that they ended up on the ground between her dresser and bed, and Johnson had her pinned to the ground. Blank stated she began grabbing his face and trying to get him off of her. Blank stated that she told Johnson that she was not scared of him. However, he responded, "You know that feeling in the back of your throat? You are scared of me," or words to that effect. Blank stated that Johnson continued to have her pinned on the ground before picking her up by her shirt and dragging her across the room. Blank stated that eventually Johnson got off of her and let her go. Blank stated that she tried to walk out of the house and Johnson started following her. So she stated, "What are you going to do? Tackle me?" Which he responded, "I guess," or words to that effect. Let me see. My mom texted me. Okay. I don't know. There's a lot, but I mean, God, this could be like a whole nother video, but let me see what these videos are. Hold on. Let me make sure what the heck they are. Are you guys even interested? Oh gosh, 47 people. I guess you're not. It is like, I mean, I feel like it all has to do with this case. This is all the people. If it's true, you guys just don't believe this stuff's true or something, or what? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the heck. Wow. It's crazy. Sorry, I'm just listening to this stuff right here. Oh, I have to reshare it. Hold on. I don't understand. So this one is.
I was at the courthouse. She showed up per her account about an hour after I was there. I never saw her. I was never alerted to her presence. I stayed in the courtroom. I went downstairs to meet with the special prosecutor and the rest of the group that I was with, and then I left. 9 hours later, Superior Court indictment, several counts of witness intimidation, several counts of picketing and parading. He has more charges coming right now involving some matters that I don't really want to discuss. They're very sensitive relating to domestic violence. So he is angry and upset with me because I have been cooperating with the prosecution and giving them information on him. A lot of the quotes that he puts in here that are not relevant to the statute at all, where I say that he can blame me for all of his problems, is because I am furnishing information. This is retaliatory.
Wow. Let me see if there's anything else that I could play. So I guess that girl, that picture that was in all those pictures, I'm like, who's that picture where they have like the close up? So that's, I guess, that Peter girl, huh? All these other pictures that I was wondering who they were, like up here. I don't know. Like these ones. Well, wait though. Did she really get? She must have. There must be some old pictures. Let me see what this is.
Admitted to forging a federal court document
Yeah,
against Turtle
Kate,
Boy with
that's
YouTube
her.
copyright. How can anyone trust you not to forge other documents?
Well, because I admitted it.
Oh, okay. What the heck, dude? Is this the voicemail? Well, it's actually.
Hey, Megan, it's Kate. Kate Peter, you know, crusty panties, how you call it. I just wanted to let you know every time you get a block number, it's not Lindsay or LG or anyone else. It's me. And I just want to let you know that when you go back to jail, I had absolutely everything to fucking do with it because you're a dumb motherfucker, right? And every time that you victimize a female, I'm going to be right there pushing back. I just want you to know that. Play this on your fucking live show. I am going to get the best of you. You're a bad person, and everybody's going to see it. Have a nice day. By the way, Karen Reed wants nothing to do with you. Go fuck yourself, bitch. I meant it. I meant it.
Dude, I didn't realize that these were all videos. I'm over here reading and I didn't realize that it was in audio. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I didn't realize that. I guess I thought this was just a screenshot with the play. I'm silly. Dang it. He's bringing the receipts here. What the heck, dude? What's this? She'll never have an issue with that. I've been hit by her more than once. I can attest that she's been able to throw a punch for several years.
A lot. Like, because it was like, you know, he came into my room early and was like, he scheduled a live about Andy. And I was like, yeah. I was like, so, like, who fucking cares? And she was like, this is all your fault. Like, they're going to pull that up. I'm going to look bad. He's going to look bad. You make everybody look bad. I was like, it's like nobody watches it, Teresa. It's fine. And then I was like, just, you know, just don't watch it and go to bed. Right. And then this morning she woke up and was in a fucking panic. And she was like, I told you something was going to happen. Like, he's going to come fucking kidnap you. He won't leave me alone. Like, I think the same thing she says, like, usually, like, joking, but she was, like, upset this time. She's like, I think he wants to bang me. Like, it's just fucking a lot of conjecture there. It seems to be to just fucking, you know, go at my fucking daughter. Like, and you know, I like put out the report because like she doesn't look that bad in it. You can tell that she lied a couple times, but she was upset, like, you know, and she wasn't arrested. I was considering yesterday, and I really should have followed through and just fucking didn't because I got lazy. But going down and just filing for criminal harassment, maybe I should just add this to that. Maybe that's probably to get like the full.
To add this to that, you should at least get a report. You should at least get something from the police department. Like spoke with an officer.
No, I'm saying maybe I should just go down and like report everything. Yeah.
Well, my advice would be report this separately. And then I would, if you go to the police and try to report criminal harassment and it's a long-term thing, likely they're going to tell you to go down to the courthouse. It was like, there was nothing you could have done to avoid this. Aiden and his mistress were the ones that dragged you to court. Aiden's and her ones fucking following you all the time and stuff. Like, this wasn't avoidable. It's just not. Nothing you do is going to stop him from doing this shit.
He's obsessed with you. Get freaked out about this too. Like, they're convinced that like he's gonna like hurt me at some point or something because like my dad follows the internet stuff.
What?
My mom really doesn't, but she hears it
Prescription
from
or
my
what?
kids. And like my dad particularly is like he can't let it go. My dad has questioned me so many times as to whether or not I've had sex with him. My dad too.
I know, yeah.
So it's embarrassing. Like, no, I haven't.
Like, you. No.
Yeah. I just don't want to overwhelm people, you know. But yeah, no, now that I just talking about this, but like, yeah, there's just a lot of corruption. Yeah, I gotta look into that case more. But I've heard about it. It's crazy. Crazy, dude. I feel like you guys aren't interested in all this stuff too, though. This is showing, I don't know. You guys don't, do you think that it's like, are you believing this stuff that we're reading right here, though, about her working for the corruptness here or not? Like Brennan and Morrissey or no? I don't know. I feel like, wow. Let me see if there's anything else. Maybe we'll go. There's so much, man. Oh, that's finally the bottom of it.
If you can't say it to someone's face and you're comfortable saying it behind the safety of a screen, you can't claim maturity at this point. You're just a coward. That's all, right?
Excuse me, Miss Peter, Aiden Carney, TV Daily News.
Wow.
I just wanted to ask you a few questions if you had a couple moments.
I think that the most logical conclusion to this would be that I meet Aiden Carney in a parking lot somewhere and we can duke it out. And this man clearly has never seen a physical confrontation in his life. So I would absolutely wipe the floor with him immediately.
Do you have any comment about that, Miss Peter? Does your employer know that you're facing criminal charges for violating a harassment prevention order, Miss Peter? Does Kingswood Village Apartments know that, Miss Peter? No, that's media. We're just asking questions, Miss Peter. Is there a reason you're afraid to answer the questions, Miss Peter?
You're 5'0". Get your little victim away.
Well, you said you were going to punch me, right?
This is what I'm going to say right here. I'm going to clip this later. Turtle Boy, I am challenging you to a fist fight.
You said you were going to punch me, right?
I know you're going to say no, but when you do, be honest for once in your life. It's not because you're mature. It's because you're a coward. And we can all accept that. We all know that. It's cool, right? Just admit it. You're a fucking coward. You are the biggest coward on the planet. You are literally the definition of a Twitter gangsta.
Well, you said you were going to punch me, right?
An appearance at this bullshit court hearing. There's a chance that Aiden might too, because he seems to really like to lurk around. Again,
bring Mr.
Aiden,
Massel.
I will have men with me, actual men with actual testicles.
Where are the men, Kate? Where are the men? Where are the men?
Real adult men will be with me. So if you're thinking of showing up and starting some malarkey, just really reflect on whether or not you're afraid of actual men. Because if you are, you should probably avoid that venue on that day.
Kate, where are the men? Where are the men?
Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to end it here because I got to eat my dinner. It's getting late already. I put the dinner in the fridge. I got to eat it still before it gets too late. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow will be a good day. So I'm planning on doing the live tomorrow. I have no idea what to expect for the trial. I mean, but what nobody's really commented about this stuff, this Turtle Boy stuff. I'm surprised. Why am I the only one? Do I still have that? Oh, that fell off. Oh no, it's on this side. Does anybody, nobody's really gave their thoughts on this stuff. What do you guys think about it all? I mean, I feel like it's all relevant to what's going on. If you do believe in the corruption and you do believe that there's some cover up and stuff in that side, then I feel like then you would think, I mean, this would be relevant. I don't know. I feel like it's important. Dang it. That was interesting to me, but I feel like I lost all you guys on that one. I thought it was really interesting, really relevant to what's going on behind the scenes with this crap. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully tomorrow will be good. I'm kind of sad I missed today. Well, actually, like the first half was boring, so maybe not. Today was probably a good day to miss because I prefer just going through those screenshots and sum it up, and you go through them and see for yourself what it is, and then going through his 4 hours of like, and then but yeah, so hopefully tomorrow, I don't even know, it could be well, I still think they're still crossing. I don't think they were done, right? I don't think anybody answered. It didn't seem like that they were done with him, which I would hope. I kind of hope they were, but I feel like the defense was in the middle of like a question and she ended it because of the timing. So I don't know. That guy might still come up for the rest of the cross. But then I don't know. I hope it'll be a interesting day. And now knowing that if that's true and McCabe saying like about like if Turtle Boy isn't arrested, I wonder, man. Yeah, tomorrow, guys. So 9 o'clock, right? Is that when it starts? I mean, it's always going to start at 9, right? Unless if she specifies. And if anybody knows ahead of time, like different scheduling, let me know. But as far as I know, it should be 9, right? So better come watch it with me. You don't think, Laura? I think she will, because I think if not, like that could be an issue. I don't think she wants to, but I think legally, I think she knows she has to. I think she will, but maybe she's going to limit some stuff of what's said. Yeah, I better hurry up and end this so I can talk to my mom before she goes to bed. See you guys tomorrow morning, okay? Bright and early. Bye.